Hey, what's up, guys? Happy Friday. Let me go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we can get started. So hopefully you guys had a great trading week like everyone else here. We had a phenomenal week this week, guys. So let me just finish setting up this room. I'll send out the link, and then we can get started. I'm probably not going to trade today, but I will call trades if I see anything. So anyways, let me just get this started right here, and then we should be good. So let me see. Nice, does well getting some profits off that. All right, cool. So I'm just seeing everyone here in the room real quick. Let me finish setting up this room, and I'll send out that link for you guys to get started. Let's close this real quick. All right. All right, cool. I just activated the chat. I'm going to let me get this link real quick. Yeah, so I'm looking at US 30 right now. I'm not really planning on trading it, but I'm going to be looking at it. So let me just mark this up here. I'm just looking to see if there's any entries. So kind of choppy market. This technically was an entry right here. I'm not going to take it obviously because the market's kind of off on Fridays. So generally it's going to hit TP already. So it's too late if you didn't take this trade. But this would have been the, obviously the most recent scalp. Looks super choppy. So I'll show you why it's super choppy right now. But I was just showing you guys what was the most recent one, which would have been right here off this green candle, where it rejected both off the pivot and the structure right there. Wow, I dropped pretty heavy. I'm kind of tempted to trade now. I wasn't going to trade. I normally don't trade on Fridays, but it's for this specific reason. Market's kind of crazy. It's kind of choppy all over the place, and I generally don't like to trade when it's like this. But here, let's see. But I'll watch them for you just in case if I see anything. Yeah, that would have been the entry right there. Anyways, let me send out this link to the Telegram groups, and then we should be good. So let's see. Live. Link ad. All right, set that out there. So if you guys send me messages, I haven't gotten to them yet, guys. So I will get to them eventually. Actually, I'm probably gonna have to get to them right now because I had a lot of emails overnight. So I will be skimming through them real quick. But like I mentioned, this is the most recent entry for US 30, which I did not take. And if you guys took it, it would have hit already. So it's a little too late to want to enter it now. But yeah, we'll keep watching for some more entries. Let me see if there was any other ones. There was another entry. No. Another one right here. There's actually a couple entries here that were that would have hit, but they're like risky entries. Oh no, not that. Here, let me just finish posting this link real quick, and then we can I'll analyze it a little more deeper. So let me post this up right here, and then let me send the Zoom link to you guys too in the for you guys in the premium. Let me just send this out real quick. All right. Done. All right, and then one last place, the Instagram. Where's my phone at? I just saw Peter's message. All right, let me just save this real quick. and post this up right there. All right. That link right there. All right, I think we're good. Let's plug this in. All right, looks like we're good, guys. So let me go and check the, oh wow, look at this big drop right here. That's a huge drop. Let me check the chat real quick, see if I'm missing anything before we continue on. Hey, morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Hopefully everyone had a great week. I know we had a great week here trading, and we're just wrapping it up. So I'm probably not going to trade today, guys, because it is Friday. You guys know how the market moves on Friday. But I'm still going to be here to answer your questions and, you know, help out if there's any scalps that you guys can possibly take. So like I was mentioning, this was the most recent entry for US 30 right here. I was trying to see how the market was moving, you know, during the week right here. So let's see, there was another entry that was actually available right here. I just want to see if these have been hitting, because I mean, obviously they were hitting like all week for us. I'm just trying to see if there's so this would have hit TP2 actually. So all of the US 30 trades have been hitting. I'm not sure if you guys are trading them overnight. That right there hit too. I'm trying to look for like losing trades to see if there is anything that, damn, look at that right there. All these hit TP. So if you guys are trading US 30 last night, it looks like you, yeah, were locking a ton of profit right here. Trading during London, actually, not last night, but London. It looks like prior to London, looks like you might have suffered some losses right here. So this might have been a loss, but you guys understand how the strategy works, right? So if you have one loss here, we just sit it out. We wait for it to swing over to the other side. So we would have had a loss here for this buy, obviously. And, you know, I'm being completely transparent with you guys. There's no 100% strategy. We're just going to win every single time. So like, for example, right here, this would have been a loss right there, but it was cool because you would avoid, after this loss right here, you would have avoided any more buy scalps. And then you were just waiting for some sells. So if you lost this right here, you would have won this to cover that loss, and then two more wins back to back right here to you know, increase your wins. So that's it for US 30 right there. Let me see if there's anything else here where anything else was hitting, you know, before we look at anything else. So if you guys have questions about, you know, any trading questions, you guys can put them in the chat. And today's probably the best day for me to answer your questions, since I'm not really going to be trading today due to it being Friday. So if you guys have questions, put them in the chat. I can answer them, pretty much all of them today. Otherwise, I'll just keep looking for some scalps. We're not really going to look for any Forex trades because the market is, you know, obviously it's already late at this point. There's no reason for us to enter a Forex trade and then end up getting burnt. Because if you're using FTMO, obviously on your funded account, you can't hold over the weekend. So just keep that in mind. So just looking at the DAX right here, I was just trying to see if there was any possible entries that were, you know, that were available, just to see how this was moving as well. So it doesn't really look like there was any entries that were available from now, or just, you know, within the US session. Actually, there's one right here. Looks like this would have been a loss. So let me see if there's anything here. So nothing here. But you still wouldn't trade during this time anyway. So like, just check this out. This is a this would have been a loss right here because, you know, it rejects off the top. So you would enter a short position and it would have hit stop loss. But you know, like I mentioned, if you guys have been following, if the market's choppy, so like right here, see how it's touching the orange pivot? I wouldn't trade in this area right here. So this whole area, I wouldn't be trading. So just looking at this right here, that's where that entry came up, right? So as soon as it started to get choppier on this area, I wouldn't have traded in this area. So I would have skipped it. So this is why I don't trade during Friday. The market's just choppy, even for US 30 right here, even though these are hitting, like these are hitting TPs, I probably wouldn't have traded in this entire area because of the choppiness. So if I turn off the candles again right here, you see this choppiness right here? Like it's all choppy because it keeps crossing over. Like for example, over here, let me show you, for example, this is good. This right here is smooth. I would, let me just turn this back on real quick. Okay, so let me turn off the candles again. So I'll circle areas where I wouldn't trade. So I wouldn't trade around this whole area right here. It's choppy, right? Just looking at the pivots. This is a smooth move down. I'd take the sells right here. Once it gets to this area right here, it's too choppy. I wouldn't trade around this area right here. Again, right here, it's smooth. And then as soon as it starts crossing over again right here, I don't trade within this whole area right here. Or actually this whole thing right here. This whole area here is just choppy. So that one loss that we saw right here, we would have skipped that trade anyways. Because look at this choppiness here, right? So choppy. So even though there's 3 wins right here, me being a conservative trader, I would have skipped these trades and, you know, I just would have waited. But there was a bunch of wins that you could have taken here along the way. So right here, too choppy, wouldn't trade there. However, right here, it starts to smoothen out. A couple sells there. There's like 2 sells that were available there. Again, right here, you know, a couple of sells like this green candle right here. And so on. There's just, you know, there's other entries that happen around this area and this area down here versus, you know, these choppy areas on this side. So just keep that in mind. And you'll see that on Friday. If you look at Friday, it's usually pretty choppy like this. And that's why we wouldn't trade it, even though they would have been, you know, winning trades. It's just not really worth the risk if you're, I mean, especially if you're trading on FTMO, right? You don't want to risk your account taking these risky trades unless like you really need to, which generally isn't the case. So let me smooth this down here. All right. Actually, let me check this real quick. If this, no, I was looking for something specific down here. Actually, let me see this. No, I'm looking for certain patterns. I don't think my live session with David went live yesterday, so you guys didn't see what I was talking about. I kind of figured out some patterns here for US 30. Basically like the important zones. So I will, you know, once I look at that a little more, I'll show you guys, or let me see if I can show you guys now. It's a new strategy that I'm probably gonna be working on that's super accurate. Let's see. No, I'm not gonna show you guys yet. I'll give you guys a sneak peek when I can figure it out. It's the, it's a new strategy where basically you can identify where the zones are really, really strong. But I'll show you guys another time because I'm not really done with that yet. I just went over it with David the other day. You guys know who David is. The dude that's giving us these crazy trades, the bigger ones. Because when his analysis lines up with mine, it's usually like super on point. And I figured out a way to kind of like merge him, his strategy and my strategy to like some extent, not all the way, but to some extent. So let me just send this Zoom link to you guys in premium. Sorry, I totally forgot. Let's see. All right, so here's the Zoom link, guys. Sorry about that. I totally forgot to send it to you guys. But yeah, last night, like I was up late last night, like working on this new strategy, and I'll probably, once I figure stuff out, I'll show you guys. But right now, I'll just I'll keep it at that. But basically, what for that new strategy is, I was able to determine what's the you know, what are the important zones, because obviously there's a lot of zones here, right? But you want to be focused on what's important, like when price breaks the zone. Like looking at this up here, you can see that these zones right here in the middle are kind of irrelevant, right? I mean, they're not irrelevant, but you can see price will break through the zone, and they don't really make that big push after, right? But for this over here, sorry, let me admit everybody. For this over here, when it breaks this zone, you can see it's a big push down, right? So that's kind of like the importance of identifying, you know, what zone's important and what's not. Because for example, here, if you were to you know, take off these zones right here, and then you just catch when price breaks above this zone, it's a bigger push up. And same situation when it breaks below the zone, it's a bigger push down. So I was able to figure out, you know, what's the important zones and what's not the important zones, or what are like the least important zones. So I will I'll probably be going over that at some point, and then we can talk about that. But yeah, I mean, for this point, we'll just stick to the basics. We'll stick to what we've been applying. And then once I figure this new strategy out, I'll introduce it to you guys. But anyways, guys, so let's see if there's anything else for us to look at. Let me check the chat real quick. Hey, Jeremy, good morning. Good morning, Peter. Good morning, Patricia. Good morning, Kushi. Good morning, Sam. Good morning, John. Morning, Billy. Morning, Mark. Morning, Matt. Morning, Ali. Morning, Karen. Morning, Billy. Thanks, Dennis. Appreciate that. Morning, Karen. Morning, T-Got. So let me check the chat and see what you guys are asking over here. So Jeremy's asking, how do you decide if you take scalp at US Open? I thought you don't take scalps at US Open. Yeah, I usually don't, Jeremy. So these right here that I was showing you, like this entry that was right here, I wouldn't have taken it. I was just telling you guys like for the people who would have taken it. I usually don't take trades right there. I usually wait for the market to kind of smoothen out a bit up to like 7:30. However, we do take the open if it's the US, the daily entry. So for example, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the daily entry, Jeremy, but there's two different strategies that we applied yesterday. We applied the daily entry, which would have been the first valid signal after market open. So after this time right here, we would take the next signal. So that's one strategy that we applied yesterday. The other strategy that we apply is the scalping strategy. For the scalping strategy, for that, we usually try to wait a bit before we enter the trade. But that's the main difference. I'm not sure if you're familiar, that if you're even aware that there's two different strategies that we're applying. But generally for the scalping, we don't enter right away. We wait until like an hour after market open. But then for the daily entry, we take the first valid signal after market open. So let me see if there's anything else here to look at. I don't know why these zones look different from the ones on my other chart. Let me see how I can fix them real quick. Yeah, these zones just look a little different from mine over here. Why do they look like that? Actually, no, I'm wrong. They look the same for the most part. Right, this is currency.com. This is currency.com. Yeah, I'm not sure why they look a little different, but I mean, it's fine, whatever. So yeah, this thing's dropping pretty heavy. I don't know if you guys took this sell here or if you guys are like thinking about it. It's just, I mean, it's probably gonna keep dropping, but it's too risky. I'm not gonna risk entering this and then blowing all my profits from this week, because I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. You know, you guys will make a lot of profit during the week and then Friday you lose all your profit. So just keep that in mind, that that's a common thing. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of that, but that happens to a lot of people. People will make a ton of profit like Monday through Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, they lose all the profit. So I'm not really gonna, I'm not gonna chase this move. But yeah, let me keep scrolling down real quick. John's asking, what's the sweet spot on US 30 and DAX 30? So for US 30, it's 50 pips on the 10-minute. And then for DAX 30, it's, I believe it's 200, between 200 and 250. That's what Patricia was mentioning, because she actually trades it. I don't really trade it that much. But let me see. So yeah, if you were to take this trade right here, it looks like the first entry would have been, actually, I mean, yeah, we'll just look at these right here, because I just want to see what the sweet spot is for these. So long position right here. Yeah, around 250 looks like the sweet spot, John. So just looking at this here, see 250. Yeah, that looks about right. So you take that, that would have won. Let me see this next one right here, the small one, 250. Yeah, so this one would have slightly like just missed the TP right there, would have hit stop loss. But, you know, like I mentioned, this is why I don't trade on Fridays, because the market's choppy. If you guys saw the market on, you know, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was perfectly fine. But today on Thursday, it's just super choppy. So that's why I wouldn't be entering these trades. But yeah, sweet spot for DAX 30 is like 250. US 30 is about 500. So if I do see some scalps, guys, I'll still call them for you guys. But, you know, like I mentioned, I'm not going to be taking them myself. So take them at your own risk. I'm pretty much done for the week. I'm just here to help you guys out here. I'm not really looking to take any trades, because the last time I did this with you guys, the week before that, well, last week was good, but the week before that, it ended up like horrible. Let me check this real quick. Nice. So Deswell posted his profits, I believe, right? Nice. So congrats, Deswell. Look at these profits he made. He was scalping US 30 right there for some buys. Let's see. I'm not sure when he took these trades, but I mean, they all hit TP. So nice work, Deswell. Congrats. Let me see if anyone else has profits from last night. Wow. Okay. So Jerry over here, Jerry said, boom, challenge passed in 5 days. K2's fire. So Jerry over here locked for the week. He locked in 10,000, basically taking my scalps and taking his own scalps. These DAX 30 scalps I didn't call. He took these on his own. So great work off that, Jerry. Eric over here passed his, oh, nice. He passed both of his challenges in 1 day or 2 days, I'm assuming, right, Eric? So congrats, Eric. Eric had 200K challenges right here, passed both of them. Probably from my trades yesterday. Other than that, let me see. Let's save messages. I saved a couple of messages from last night. So yeah, Deswell's profits right there. I'll just delete this one. So that's kind of what I mean, guys. Look, if you lock in your profits, you just call it a day. Like Deswell said, US 30 done for the day. C-Suk over here locked in 1800. C-Suk over here is scalping US 30 last night. Locked in some nice profit. Yeah, other than that, I think that's probably about it for these over here. But anyway, so let's just keep looking at the charts, and I'm gonna check to see if there's any other questions here. So let me see if there's anything else here real quick. Yeah, I just sent out the Zoom link, so I'm not sure if you, and Peter, yeah, to you guys too. Sorry, that link was kind of sent out a little late, but it is in the premium channel right now. Let's see. Billy said GJ. So let me pull up GJ for you guys real quick. All right, so let me delete everything off here. Zoom out from this point. Okay, guys, so this is the naked chart right here. As you guys know, the first thing I do is I turn on the K2SR indicator. And then from here, I draw my zone so we can identify the rejection points. Let's drop that magnet. So we got a rejection point right there. We have another one right there. Another one right. Let me just connect that right there. All right, cool. And then we got a couple more over here as well. That one. That one. This one and a couple more up here. And then one right here. And then basically once you draw these zones on the 4 hour, you need to get the higher zones, right? So when you don't have the zones on the 4 hour, I'll go on the 8 hour. There's nothing there. I go on the daily. There is nothing there. I go on the weekly. And yeah, there's a couple of zones right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw these zones. So there's actually one big zone right here, right there. And we'll go back in the 4 hour right here. So after I draw my zones, I go back to the 4 hour chart right here and I just look at where price has been going. So for GJ right here, it looks like it pushed up, then it swung back down. So at this point right here, I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator right there and then indicate, where should I be trading? So looking at this right here, Billy, we have the rejection off this high point right here. We have the sell signal right here. So what I'd be looking for here is for price to break and close past this structure. So price is currently on its way down and, it's probably just retracing down a little bit. So it came down a little bit, retraced up slightly, and then it's probably going to come back down from this point, right? So from this point right here, I'm pretty much waiting for it to come down, break this zone right here and close. And then once it closes below there, you can take a sell and then ride this down from that position. So that's pretty much what I see happening right there. It's just retracing slightly right now, or it's consolidating a bit. And this is pretty much what I see happening for GJ here. So let me see if there's anything else real quick. Karen mentioned if you're scalping the Forex pairs for TP stop loss, do you use TradingView's TP stop loss, or is there a recommended number of pips? Karen, it depends on which pair are you trading, because each pair moves way differently. So if you're using, GJ, I think the sweet spot is scalping on the 10-minute for like about 30 pips or so. It's going to vary from asset to asset because some move more than others. You can use the automatic feature, but you know, for something like this, you see how big this move is. It's 200 pips. You're probably not going to take a 200 pip move with that. And even if I was to scalp it, so let me show you real quick. If you're to scalp it on, let's go to GJ real quick, and I'll just see if we could. I could mark it up for you just to show you an example of, you know, scalping this on the 10 minute. So here's the 10 minute here. I'm going to draw my zones real quick, just so that we can identify an entry. Because I just want to show you guys an entry, and then we'll map it out to see, you know, obviously to see how much does it actually move. So let's see, you know, entry there. I'm just trying to find a decent entry for us to follow, so that I can mark it up for you. All right, so it looks like there's one right here. So let me just hide this real quick. So Karen, if I go and I replay this to that red candle. So just looking at there, if you zoom out from this point and you set your TP stop loss, that's a big move, right? You're trading on the 10 minute. It's going for like a 50 pip move. So this is why I usually don't use the automated version for it. I usually just, my sweet spot for GJ is going to be like 30 pips or so. Because you're not trying to over leverage yourself. You know, you're not, if you're going for a scalp, you're literally just trying to get in and out. You're not really going for that big move. I mean, technically, you probably could have hit that big move. Let me just run it. So if you scalped it, you still would have hit for 30 pips, right? But if you went for that big move, you probably still would have hit it as well. Let me see what it was, like 50 pips or something. It was like 51 pips, I think. So you probably still would have hit it here. So, I mean, this is the case sometimes where it will hit, but I don't, like, if you're scalping, you're not trying to go, this turns into an intraday trade at that point. If you go for that bigger move. I mean, technically you could put no TP and just have your stop loss at like 30 pips and then just keep sliding it as it moves. But I mean, you know, if you're scalping, you're literally just trying to get in and out of the trade. You're not going for those home run hits. So for scalping, I personally would just use a set number, and that set number is going to vary by asset. But if you want to just keep running it, the only problem with running like when managing a scalp is that it moves too fast. So even if you were to manage your position here, so say for example, you enter that short position there, you would literally have to actively manage it every single like candle. So every 10 minutes, you have to actively manage it. And obviously you would make more money if you were to actively manage it, but in reality, who's going to actively manage it, right? Some people don't even move their stop loss and profit. So a lot of people just like to set and forget. And if you're going to set and forget, you should use a fixed parameter. So that's pretty much it for that one right there. Let me see if there's anything. Hey, T-Got, morning. Morning, John. City, hey, how's it going, bro? Mark said, John, US 30 scalp is 50. Yeah, that's correct. Thanks, Mark. Alan said, morning, Shawn. Morning, Alan. Morning, Indra. Morning, Funky. Morning, Jonathan. Morning, everybody. So let me see if there's anything else here before, you know, we continue on. So let's see, any other questions here? Funky said, good morning, Shawn. Can we look at SPX 500? I was thinking it was going to push up to a buy in gold as well. So let me check that real quick. So Funky wants me to take a look at SPX 500. So let me pull up the S&P real quick. All right. So here we got the SPX. Let me just draw these zones real quick and see what Funky was looking at over here. So we got a zone down here. We got a zone right here. Another zone there. Nice. Sisu sent me something. Let's see. What did you get, Sisu? Nice. So Sisu, he said boom shakalaka and I'm out. So Sisu ended his week. He was just scalping US 30 right here. He closed out for a total of 1,522 to close out the trading week this Friday. So congrats, Sisu. Nice profit off that. I'll send that to the saved messages. If you guys have any profits that you guys want me to share in the public groups, just send it to me or post them in any of the groups and I'll save them so that we can post them on our weekly roundup. Well, I mean, I post someone's profits every day. So you guys have already seen, you know, who's profiting and who's staying consistent. But anyways, looking at S&P right here, Funky mentioned S&P for a scalp move, or I'm not sure if you wanted me to analyze this for a scalp, Funky, or if you wanted me to analyze this from a long-term perspective. But looking at this here, let's see, so no entry here. The most recent entry might have been this green candle right here. I mean, it's a risky trade, but I guess technically that would have been the most recent entry. So if you were to take that trade right there, let me just mark it up. We might have to rewind it. Let's see. Oh, actually, so I wouldn't take this trade because it's on both ends. So to buy and to sell, I probably wouldn't have taken this one right here. But the one before, it looks like it would have been a loss. So this would have been a loss right here. And this is, or actually, we wouldn't even take this trade, Funky. Let me just go back and show you real quick. So like I mentioned, you got to make sure to identify when price is choppy. So if I turn off the candles right here, I'll just circle the areas where I wouldn't trade. So it's smooth right here. I would take sells around this area. But when it starts to cross over right here to the orange pivot, this is where it gets choppy, right? I wouldn't trade there. I also wouldn't trade right here. So I think that one trade that we just looked at right now wasn't even a good trade for us to take. Actually, this whole area right here, like you guys can see the choppiness right here between the pivots, right? So if I turn this back on, super choppy right here. So I wouldn't take any trades here. I probably wouldn't take any trades here or up this area where it was choppy. But as soon as it broke out of that choppiness, I would have taken some trades. So for example, I wouldn't take any trades here, but as soon as it broke below here, I'd take some trades. So I would take trades here. I would take trades here. I wouldn't take trades here. I'd take maybe this, there's like one win right here, actually this red one. And then right here, I would just skip this whole area, Funky. So just looking at this real quick, let me see if there's anything else that I missed here. Look at SPX, I think it was going to push up. Okay, so I'm going to analyze this from a bigger perspective too, because I think you're just looking for a bigger move, right? Funky, you weren't really looking for a scalp here, because I wouldn't even scalp in this area due to the choppiness here. Let me just analyze it on the 1 hour, and I'll show you what I think is going to happen like long term for S&P. So anyways, let me just take everything off the chart, go back on the 1 hour right here, zoom out from this point. There's our naked chart. I'm going to turn on the K2SR levels to identify these zones here. So we got that right there. We've got this big zone right here. No, it's fine. So we got that zone right there. We got this lower zone right here. This right there, and then this one down here as well. So just looking at this here, I'm gonna zoom out. This is pretty much how the zones look for S&P. I'm gonna go and turn on the momentum indicator. I could see why you think it was gonna be a buy, Funky, because you saw the rejection off the structure right here. However, you can see that price is currently attempting to break below it, right? So just looking at this right here, I can see why you thought it was a buy, because you saw price reject off this point and then it was pushing up. However, I think currently right now at this specific time, so it looked like a buy maybe last night during London session. So from London session up until a US open, it looked like a buy. But now that price has opened for the US session right here at 630, now it's currently pushing below, right? So I think S&P is actually going to be a sell, because we have the rejection from this point, the sell signal. If this ends up closing below the structure right here, then I think it's definitely going to be a sell, obviously, right? So just looking at that there, let me just see if the new strategy, no, it wouldn't have fit. I'll go over this new strategy at some point, guys. Not now, but obviously at some point I will. I'll go over it, because I'm still trying to figure out the strategy myself. But this would have been a great buy right here. So I'll give you guys a little hint. So basically, when you have a structure like this right here, you can see that we have a strong bearish candle, a strong bullish candle, and then a strong bearish candle this way. So when I see this pattern right here, I obviously anticipate price to shoot up, because this is a strong zone. This is a very strong zone. So this rejects off this point, we get a buy signal, and then I would take my buy entry right over there, and then full TP, right? So you guys probably don't understand what I'm mentioning by that, but it's something that I was analyzing a lot yesterday. Let me see if there's another one here. Yeah, same with this one right here. So same pattern right here. It was a strong bearish, and then bullish, and then bearish right there. And then it pushes up this way, right? And then again, right here. So again, right here, we have a bearish candle, bullish, bearish, and then it comes down super heavy. So I would take the sell signal right here. But that might be a little too complicated for you guys, because you guys probably don't see what I see. And I'll explain to it eventually. I'll explain to you guys once I test it out a little more. but it's a crazy good strategy. It's able to identify like where these rejection points happen, like because you can see here that sometimes when you have these rejection points like this one right here, and you have that sell signal, it pushes down pretty heavy, right? So you want to determine, you know, which zone is actually really, really important and which ones are like secondary. So I was able to figure it out, and that's probably going to be a new strategy that I'll be, you know, possibly teaching you guys eventually. I still got to make the videos for the scalping strategy, so I will go over that. But this is a new strategy that I've been working on. So let me see if there's anything else here real quick. All right, so that's it for that. But yeah, looking at S&P right here, Funky, I think this is probably going to go down further, especially if it closes below this structure. What's up, Samurai? Morning. Let's see if there's anything else here. That's pretty much what I see for S&P. I think you wanted gold as well, right? So let me pull up gold real quick. So, sorry, I'm getting like mixed up right here. Where's Funky's question? Okay, there you go. So Funky was talking about S&P. Now you're asking about gold. So let me pull up gold for you real quick, and then I'll reanalyze that. I think we were looking at gold for a sell yesterday, right? Yeah. So if I go back on the 4 hour, you know, I pretty much did what we were anticipating. I marked this up for you guys here. I said that this was a sell bias because we had a sell signal, and then I mentioned that, you know, price was either going to reject off this point or broke below. So like these points are important. Like when you have these zones marked up, it's going to indicate, you know, whether you're going to take a buy or a sell, because price will either continue, it'll reject off it, or it'll break right through it. You know, this just gives you the framework for an entry here. So let me just delete everything off the chart and I'll just analyze it from scratch again. So there's nothing on the chart right here. I turn on the K²SR indicator and I draw my, obviously my zones on the chart for you guys right over here. All right. All right, so now we need the lower zone because price hasn't broken the zone yet in a while. So we'll go on the 8 hour, nothing there. Let's go on the daily over here, nothing there. Let's go on weekly, and the zone is like way down here. So the gold might, gold might drop pretty heavy, guys. If this ends up closing below here, I mean, it's probably going to close here. This is such a big drop. It's probably going to keep dropping, honestly, guys. I think gold's going to keep dropping further and further because the next line of support is like nowhere in sight. The next line of support, weekly support, is way down here. So, I mean, it's not going to be a straight drop down. It's probably going to be a back and forth movement. But, geez, look at this move from here down here. That's about 228 pips. That's a huge move. So just keep that in mind. Gold will probably be a sell bias. Let me see the scalps here. Maybe you can find some scalps for gold. US 30 is also dumping right here. There's no day entry yet. I think someone asked for that. Kevin's asking, hi, Shawn, do we have a daily strategy today? There's no entry yet, Kevin. And it doesn't look like we're going to have one because it is already 7:30. The market closes early today. Well, it closes on time today, but it's going to be the weekend. So we don't really like holding US 30 trades into the weekend. But just looking at it here, that is like there's going to be an entry that's available. And I kind of want to scalp it on the 1 minute now. So let me just take a look at US 30 real quick. It looks there's not even any zones on the 1 minute either. All right, so anyways, just looking at this here, I mean, there's no entry right here. It's just dumping like super heavily. So I don't know if any of you guys got into that sell earlier that I was talking about, but I mean, if you did, damn, looks like US 30 is melting today. Tempted to hop in, but no, I don't want to risk it. It's too risky for us to here, let me see how big of a pit move is. I might just take a speculative sell and just like, nah, it's way too wide. Cause like, if I was to enter this trade right here, if I want to enter a sell, my stop loss would be right here. And this is it's way too wide of a range. 1,180 pips. That's too far out. If it was closer, like if I could put it somewhere here, or I mean closer, like way down here, that'd be better. But with a drop right here, it's probably gonna spike up. It's gonna wick up and it's gonna come back down. I wonder what the sentiment's looking like. So let me check US 30 sentiment to see where everyone's trading. It's kind of unusual for it to drop like that. If sentiment is for a sell, let me see. Oh, wow. Okay. So the short sellers, it was like, it dropped so much. So that's why they're dropping it now, because I kind of want to know this trade now. Let me see. MT4. My MT4 real quick. All right. So I might take ups, but I mean, we'll see. Oh, fuck, I forgot. I have to, I've got to reset thing. So let me go back to MT4. I got to log out of that one. Oh, never mind, guys. I'm not going to miss this because I forgot I got update my MC4. Let me see if I get the data here. Copy this over. So maybe I'll keep watching and I'll see if I see anything. I'm probably not going to trade today, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because I keep looking at the clock at 7:30. The last thing I want to do is enter trade and then it just dies down, right? Because volatility might die down sometime shortly. Yeah, the volatility might die down in a bit. And the last thing I want to do is enter sell here, and then I end up stuck in this position, right? If I enter sell here and I'm just stuck here because the price doesn't move anymore, I'm going to be screwed on my FTMO, because you can't hold trades over the weekend with your funded account. So I'm actually probably going to hold off. Yeah, Samurai. So that's basically what I would have been looking for. I would have waited for it to pull back a bit. I probably would have waited for it to pull back, maybe retest the structure or one of the pivots right here, and then I would have taken the sell. But like I mentioned, it is Friday, so I don't want to hold trades into the. I don't want to hold trades into the weekend, because it just becomes too risky at that point. So I'm probably just gonna hold off on it, guys. C6 said, "All right, I'm out now." All right, so C6 said he was done, but he wasn't done. Check that out. He locked in. So the last profit he shared here, he made 1,522. He took a couple trades right here, a little more, and then he locked in another 1,000. Well, he increased that 1,500 to 1,664. So nice work off that, Sisu. Let me send that over to the saved messages there. And yeah, I'm probably gonna hold off on US 30. There's just too many moving pieces here, guys, because I had to get a new account for my FTMO, because it had my payout yesterday, I think. So I had to update some stuff here, but there's just too much stuff, because I got to update my information for MT4 like within my computer, and I don't want to do that. It's just I have to go back, delete my old information, put in my new information. It's just too much of a hassle. If I was to take it, I'd probably just take it on my phone. Let me just get this right here. All right, I need to log out of this MC4 anyways. So let me go back to the chat over here real quick. I'll just help you guys with some trades. I'm not going to take any trades on my own account. If there's something that you guys want me to look at. But anyways, let me scroll up to the top. So I looked at S&P, I looked at gold. Jeremy said, thanks, Shawn. I know US 30 daily strategy, but I don't know until what time you trade the signal, a few hours after US open. Jeremy, so for the daily strategy, you don't you take the first one, you don't wait for anything. You just you wait until after the open. So if because you're talking about the daily strategy, if you're talking about the daily strategy right here, we take the first valid signal after open. So for example, over here, I'll just go back to the trade from yesterday. So I'll just take, let me see. We took this, where did we take it at? 640. Okay. So anyways, this is the entry from yesterday, Jeremy, right? So the market opened right here at 6:30. We don't wait an hour or anything like that. If you're trading the daily strategy, you take the first valid signal. So market opened here at 6:30. You take the first one after it. So right here, this would have been the first one. This is a trade that we took yesterday during the live session. You take a sell right there. The TP stop loss is set at 1,500 pips. And that's pretty much it. Once you have that there, you just let it run. And, obviously, that we hit TP yesterday. So you don't wait an hour. The only time we wait for the scalps. Jeremy. But for the daily entry, you don't wait for anything. You just take the first valid signal after the market open. So we don't take them at 6:30, but we take the first valid signal right after it. And that's how, that strategy works. So I think there might've been some confusion there. Cause if you're asking like, how long do we wait? We don't wait for anything for the daily entry. It's just for the scalps where we wait. So that's pretty much it for that right there. And there's no entry here. So people keep asking me if we're taking the daily strategy today, but there's no entry here because this is the opening candle. We would need to wait for the valid signal following it. So in order for me to identify, where the rejection points are, which there probably isn't going to be any rejection points here. Let me just zoom out real quick. So just looking at this here, like I mentioned, we were trying to look for some rejection points down here, but price hasn't been down here in a long time. So let's see, the last time price was down here was back in February 4th. So it's been a long time. If I turn on the zones, there's going to be no zones down there. K2SR. Here, let me mark up where the next support is. So there's no support there on the 10-minute, nothing on the 30-minute, nothing on the 1 hour. And then here we go on the 4 hour. So this is going to be the, this one right here. So it's actually at support on the 4 hour. So you guys can see that zone that I just drew there on the 4 hour. If you go back to the 10-minute, it's actually right at the 4 hour support. So this might reject right off it. It might reject off and provide for a buy signal, but I'm not going to take it because it is Friday and this could be a fake out right here. So we'll keep an eye on it. If I do see the daily entry, I'll let you guys know, but I'm not going to take it on my own account and I'm not going to call it as an actual signal because it's just too risky. So I will, I'll keep an eye on it and then I'll let you know if it does, hit or not. Cause I do have my alert set up. So I'll be able to look for it when it does play out. But anyways, back to the questions over here. Let's see. Peter said every month when FTMO pays out, it resets logins. No, Peter, they usually have the same logins, but they had a new contract. So what happened with FTMO is, I think last month or the month before that, I think it was just last month. They have new FTMO contracts. So after you got my payout for this one, you got to sign a new contract and then they give you a new account. Because they just, so I had that old contract from like last year. So when they have new contracts, they make you sign a new contract and then they give you a new FTMO account, Peter. But usually they don't, because I think I had the other funded account from I had it from like September up until January for my first one. And then that one got reset. And then this one, the payout carried over to the next month. So that's why they gave me a new account. And I don't know how often they do that. It's only happened once when I've had a funded account. All right, so let me see if there's anything else here again before I continue. So I'm done with that question. Let's see. Varun said US 30 is tracing. Should we sell when it resets the breakdown? That's kind of what I was looking for earlier, Varun. So for this right here, I was waiting for it to come up, maybe test the pivot in the structure over here and then come back down. But I mean, who knows? That'd probably be the move there. But it's a long shot. Look how far it is from the next pivot. From this first pivot right here, it's 1,300 pips. From the zone, it's like 2,000 pips. So I don't know if it's going to move that much from that point, Varun. But if obviously if we have an entry there, then we could obviously possibly take it. So let me just check this real quick. I just want to make sure that that everyone's questions. Let me just make sure everything here is solid. Oh, Jonathan, sorry, I just saw your email right now, Jonathan. So I will, I'll take a look at that shortly. So let me just see that real quick. Javier. All right, perfect, guys. So I'm just looking at my emails right now because I have like over 200 emails, guys. So if you guys emailed me last night, I haven't gotten to any of your emails yet. I just want to make sure there's nothing important here. But yeah, Jonathan, let me get back to your question right here. So Jonathan's asking, just a quick question. When you draw your zones using the K2SR indicator, sometimes you join up larger zones when there could possibly be two separate zones. Any particular reason why? So Jonathan, you probably have to give me an example because there's two different ways of drawing the zones. There's ways of drawing the zones on the 4 hour and there's ways of drawing the zones on the 10 minute. So here, let me just show you an example here. I'll just show you two different ways of how we draw the zones. So for this right here on the 10, or let me go on the 10 minute. Or I'll go on the higher time frame first. So on the 1 hour first, I'll just show you you know, the difference of drawing zones. So there's a couple different ways to draw it. So for example, here, you can see that this zone right here, see how it's one zone right there, but it crosses over into this zone right here too, right? See how the green line crosses into this? That's where you would connect them. So if they cross over, you would connect them. That's one way of doing it. So let me show you another example here. You can see that we have this zone right here, but it ties in with this zone right here too, right? See how this big zone's down here, this big red one? So if I zoom in a little closer, you can see that we have a small zone within a zone. So when there's a zone within a zone, you know, obviously you would just create a bigger zone to cover the full move, right? So that's one way of doing it when they overlap. The other way is when you're trading on the intraday. So if you're trading intraday on the 4 hour, like using GJ for an example of what we were looking at earlier. So if I go here and I go on the 4 hour, you know, you're not going to, you basically trade within zones. So for example, here, let me see if I can find one over here. So right here, it's kind of a bad example. I was trying to figure out when, I was trying to show you when, you know, zones are close. So let me see if this, let me see how far the zone is from this one. No, GJ is probably not going to be a good example. I think one of the more choppy pairs are better examples, like EG. So for, okay, this is perfect right here. So looking at EG right here, okay, so I'll use this for an example here. This is another way of doing it. So for example, right here, we have a zone down here, right? We have this lower zone, and then we have this zone right here. So for these two zones right here, you're going to measure how far is in between the zone, right? It's only 13 pips. When it's 13 pips, you're not going to trade within this little area because the spread's like 2 or 3 pips already for EG. And then you got to pay the spread both ways. That's 6 pips. You're only going to be able to lock in like X amount of pips before being able to enter this trade. So if these zones are too close and you're trading intraday, then you would just connect these two because you're not going to trade in between them anyways, right? So that's when you would connect these two right here. And this is for the 4 hour intraday setting. It's going to differ between scalping and intraday because if you're scalping, each little zone is important because you're just looking for the rejection off it. For the intraday, you're trading on such a big time frame where you're trading from zone to zone. So for example, here, Jonathan, this is where you would merge these together even though they don't overlap. Because like, for example, these are two separate zones right here, right? But like I mentioned, there's just no reason to draw two separate zones because you're not going to trade within this area. So instead of doing that, you just draw one big zone. So hopefully that helps, Jonathan. I mean, if you could be a little more specific with the question, you know, with regard to which one you're referring to, the 4 hour intraday or scalping, then I can be a little more specific with the response. But those are basically the two different ways of drawing these zones. Because obviously, if you're trading intraday, you're trading zone to zone. If you're trading scalping, you don't really care about where the distance is from the other zone because you're just looking for a rejection point, right? You're not really looking for the same thing here that you're looking for over here on the 4 hour. So hopefully that helps. I mean, if it doesn't, I can be a little more detailed. Just be a little more detailed with your question, then I can go more in depth with my response to that. So anyways, going back to US 30 real quick. Wow, this thing actually shot up pretty nice. So good thing I didn't enter that trade because this would have ended horribly. So this is what I was talking about where, you know, I would have wanted to put my stop loss somewhere around this area, but that's a big move. So look at this candle right here. This is a huge move down and then a huge move up for well over 2,000 pips within less than 10 minutes. So this is why we don't trade on Friday because of this crazy choppiness right here. So we'll see how this plays out. Maybe it'll recover. Let's pull up CNBC real quick. I think it'll recover, honestly. I think it's going to swing back up. So just looking at this here, we have, you know, usually when this starts off red, midday, it's going to swing up to green. So I think they're going to try to close the market bullish, but I mean, we'll see. That's my prediction. My prediction is US 30 is going to swing back up. So I probably wouldn't take any sells here. I think what happened is they trapped everyone here. They trapped all the sellers as people came down. And then as soon as people try to FOMO in down here, you know, which always happens, people try to join in super late. They reverse it on them. They stop everyone out. So just keep that in mind, guys. Sure, no problem, Jonathan. Glad I could help with that right there. But anyways, we'll keep looking at US 30 to see if there's any entries. But I would be wary if you're trying to take some sells. I think this is going to shoot up, but who knows? We'll wait and see how that plays out. All right, so let me check real quick to see if there's anything else here. Peter said, can you look at gold? So I think, well, I looked at gold already, so I'm not sure if you saw that analysis, Peter, but I'm gonna go back to it. So like gold right here, if this closes below here, then it'll probably keep dropping. However, this candle closes in 2 hours, and in 2 hours, we're gonna get closer to market close for the weekend. So I wouldn't even trade this anymore at that point. At this point, it's probably just gonna bounce around this area, or it's just gonna stay flat until market close. So I mean, I don't know. It looks like volatility is kind of dying down for gold. Let me go back to I'll just check gold on the 10-minute real quick. Let me see. XAU. Yeah, I mean, it looks like volatility is starting to die down a little bit for not just gold, for the indices as well. And then we'll see how this plays out too. I think this is going to end up being bullish because it looks like all of the indices are starting to push up, right? The DAX is pushing up, US 30 is pushing up, S&P is pushing up as well. So everything here is starting to push up. So I wouldn't take any more sells, guys, for these. I might take I'm tempted to take a buy and just hang on to it. Tight stop loss, like right here, maybe. Let me see. Let me turn this on right here. Yeah, I think this is going to push up, guys. It looks like it's going to push up. I'm thinking about maybe taking a small little buy and then just keeping a tight stop loss right here and just riding it up. All right, so you guys saw that there. I just marked it up. We'll just follow it. You know, I'm not going to take a trade, but I'm going to show you that I think this is going to come up from here because these are the same tricks that they play like every Friday. It's usually like it has like a really dramatic drop and then it reverses. So we see this like almost every Friday. Maybe I could create a strategy off this, but we'll watch it. We'll watch it and see how it plays out. I mean, technically being profit at this point. And we'll see. Let me see where let me check the zone real quick using the new strategy that I was talking about. I'm trying to figure out where the strong zones are at. So, all right, so this is right here. This is going to be the strong zone. So I think, so check this out. I think price is going to push up to this zone right here. I'll just put the TP there. I think price is going to push up all the way up to here. Don't quote me on it, but I think it will. So we'll see. The reason for that, so I was using the new strategy that I was telling you guys about. I was looking for the most the important zones here because I was able to identify that this is an important zone because of the pattern that I saw over here. I mean, you guys can't see the pattern obviously, but I see the pattern right here. See this where the zone was created? I see a pattern right here, and it's going to identify where the important area is. Well, the important zone, I mean. So we'll see. I marked that up right there. I'm not going to take the trade, but I'm just marking it up and letting you guys know what I see happening for US 30. It's probably going to push up to here, or maybe not even up to that's kind of high. Maybe up to here. Because generally what I like to do is I'll try to keep some gap between the zone and the TP right there so that it actually hits. So we'll see how this plays out, but this is basically what I see happening for US 30. Okay, anyways, let me go down real quick and see if there's anything else that let me see out over here. David said, oh snap, didn't know you were on today. Ron Mexico in the room. Looks like you're at work, David. Yeah, no, I wasn't going to come on live today, but I figured I might as well just come on and answer questions because I have so many questions that were sent on Telegram and on email that I figured I might as well just come on and answer your guys' questions on here. But I'm not going to trade, David. I'm just marking stuff up for people. So let me see real quick. All right. So I'm gonna just finish looking at the chat real quick and see if there's any other questions over here. So let me see. Talanji said hit that like. Definitely. Thanks, Talanji. Other than that, I think that's it for the questions here. I think we have a couple questions here in the Zoom chat. So let me pull up the Zoom chat real quick. Let's see. So Joe's asking, hello, I took the signal at, oh, nice. So Joe actually took, so I'm looking, I don't know if you guys can see my screen here, but, or my chat. I have the Zoom chat open right here. Yeah, Joe actually took the opening candle. I mean, it does work sometimes, Joe. So you probably just got, you were on point with that entry. But Joe, he's in the Zoom chat. If you guys are on the Zoom, you guys can see that Joe mentioned that he took this sell right here. So, with taking this sell right here, Joe locked in like massive profit off that, obviously. So nice work off that, Joe. I mean, technically it works sometimes, but it's just, from my back testing, the opening candle is usually, well, it's always manipulated, obviously, because it's a big candle when the orders flow in. And that's, that's pretty much why we avoid that. But sometimes it goes in your direction, which was good in your case, because you actually, it looks like you should have hit TP off that one. Chelsea, no, there's no daily entry yet, because we have the first signal after market open, and there's no signal yet. So there hasn't been a signal, but I'm looking at the Zoom chat right here, and Joe mentioned that he took the sell signal on open, this one right here. So yeah, Joe said made a quick 1K though, so it worked out all right. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Joe said, do you still use the K² trend meter and Ichimoku indicators in the intraday strategy? So I personally don't use them as much anymore, Joe, because I scalp more now than intraday trading. And if I do trade intraday, I trade on the 4 hour. So I usually just use the K2SR strategy, but I look at it sometimes. I look at it for an extra confirmation, but I don't necessarily just take trades off it directly. Joe's asking if I can take a look at UJ. So I'll pull up UJ first for you guys. Let's see. UJ right here. Let me go ahead and zoom out from this point, delete everything off the chart, turn on the K2SR. So let me just draw these zones real quick for you, Joe, and then we can continue on. All right, so we got these set up right there. Pull this up right there. Yeah, guys, so I usually don't look at the Zoom chat, but today, since I'm not really trading, I have extra time to focus on the chat. Because generally, if you guys sat in on my live session yesterday, I'm just focused on my scalping. I'm not really too focused on answering questions early session. But since I'm not trading today, I can look at your guys' questions. But anyways, looking at UJ right here, let me get these higher zones. All right. Looks pretty solid for the most part. But yeah, Joe, anyways, going back to the 4 hour right here. Once we have those zones drawn out, we can just identify, where to trade and where not to trade. So looking at this here, first thing I'm gonna do is turn on the momentum indicator. And obviously we have a bullish momentum right here, right? So at this point, it looks like we have the rejection point from down here. We have that buy signal right there. You can see obviously price pushed up to the next structure right here. As soon as it broke over here, another buy signal right there, or another buy entry. I think we took this one, right? It hit TP, then it swung down. I think stop loss was just too close, because if it was wide enough right here, it would have continued on. And I think this is going to keep pushing bullish, Joe, up to this zone up here. So just keep that in mind. That's pretty much my analysis for UJ right there. Let me see USD CHF. So next up is USD CHF. First thing I'm gonna do here is I'm going to turn everything off, zoom out from this point, turn on the K2SR indicator, and draw my my zones. So we got that zone right there. Got that zone. this one's kind of messy. Let's draw a bunch of zones right here. And Jonathan, this is back to like what we were saying earlier, right? See how these zones are so, they're so close together. There's gonna be no reason for us to just draw the small zone because we're not gonna trade, you know, this little like 1 pip area right here. So instead of having multiple zones here, we just draw one big one because this is intraday trading. So we're looking for the gaps in between the zones for us to trade. But if they're too close, then, you know, obviously it's better to just draw a big zone rather than a bunch of small zones that will just make it look too messy. But yeah, looking at USD CHF right here, looks like it's ranging right now, right? It's just ranging between these two zones right here. So this is actually a nice setup here because you want, like when it ranges like that, you want to wait for it to break outside the zone. So looking at USD CHF right here, you can see that price is just ranging within this area. We have a pending buy signal right here. So right here, we had the rejection off this point. We had the sell signal right here. And then from there, it pushed down to this structure right here, right? From that point, we have another rejection here. It failed to break and close past the structure. We have a pending buy signal right here because you can see that it starts to turn green for a second. So if this ends up closing right here, it's probably going to push up to this structure right here. So at that point, price can either break above it and continue higher, or it can reject off this point and come back down. So a couple of different scenarios that can play out right here, Joe. It just really depends on where price is going to go. Generally, I don't like to trade within these ranges right here. I want it to close either below it right here or above it over here before, you know, taking this trade, because obviously you want to take it once it breaks out. So for this right here, this is basically where I would be looking. But just, you know, looking at it from this perspective, I wouldn't trade it until it breaks above it or breaks below it for that confirmation that price is going to continue in that direction. So that's, you know, that's pretty much it. Sure, no problem, Joe. Mark said he really wants to take that trade. Look at, he's already got the phone open. Yeah, I was trying to, Mark. I wanted to, but, you know, unfortunately, no, I didn't. So we'll see how this pushes up. I'm curious how this is going to play out. This might not push up like how I mentioned earlier because this is like one mistake that I did. I wanted to see if there was a lower zone here, but I didn't have a lower zone. Here, let me just go on the higher time frame, 15. Oh, actually, yeah, I don't know if this will push up anymore because I think Chelsea just mentioned that she was asking if US 30 is at a zone. So it's actually at a zone on the 15-minute. So let me check this out real quick over here. Yeah, it's at a 15-minute zone right now, Chelsea. It's literally rejecting off it. So this might be a sell entry actually. Here, let me delete this real quick. Yeah, this might, if you're trading the scalp on the 15, there's actually a sell entry right there. And this is going to close in like 2 minutes. So if you're scalping on the 15, it looks like this might be a sell entry actually. So this is why I don't trade on Fridays, because it's like completely opposite. It could be, it could go up and go down. There's a lot of fake outs, right? So looking back on the 10-minute right here, there's a ton of fake outs, right? Price comes down, comes back up. At this point, it can either come back down or it can shoot all the way back up. So that's why I'm not going to trade this. I mean, if you guys want to speculate, you guys can speculate. And then we'll just see, you know, where it plays out. Because like earlier, I thought this was going to go up because of the sentiment. Sentiment started to swing the other direction. So basically when sentiment swings in the other direction, this is, and just looking at their chart here, right, on IQ or IG, it's bullish, right? It's just a bullish move up on the daily. But this big drop right here is basically to stop everyone out because it looks like people are shifting from short positions to long positions because this was like 80% earlier this week. Or it was like 60, it was like 7, it was pretty high. It was pretty high, and that's why we were taking buys. And then yesterday we took shorts. So now there's a lot of confusion in the market. People don't know whether price is going to go up or down. But I mean, we'll just, we'll see how this ends up playing out. But yeah, so let's see. Mark's asking, did they give it to you right away? It took a few days for me to get the new account. Yeah, Mark, it takes for my first account, it took like a week. So that's why I had to wait a while. But for some, I think for this most recent one, they gave it to me within like a day or so. So it wasn't really that bad. Yeah, Chelsea said, yeah, I think it was just a fake out. That's exactly why I wouldn't take any trades right now, because this can either go, it can go either way. Like it's at a zone on the 15-minute, but it could literally be a fake out because there's no, I mean, there's a zone right here. This zone would actually be stretched out to here, but I don't scalp on the 15 minute, I scalp on the 10. And I just don't think there's an entry at this point right now. T-Got said, what's that website? So T-Got, it's, see if I go back. Just go to Google and then search US 30 sentiment. It'll be IG right here, the IG sentiment. So you click on that there, and then it'll show you where the retail traders are. So if there's more short, like generally, if this is higher on one side, then it'll go the opposite direction. If it's higher on the other side, it'll go the opposite direction. Daryl said US 30 was 79% short last night. So that's why you see US 30 here bouncing around, right? So like, for example, price comes down and there's so many people that are short that they spike price up this way to stop everyone out, right? They spike it up like 3,000 pips. They stop everyone out and then it comes back down. Then they stop everyone out again and then it comes back down. And here they go stopping people out again, right? So just looking at this on the 15 minute, yeah, this would have been an entry here for a scalp. But there's just too many conflicting analyses, right? Like there's an analysis for a sell on the 15 minute. There's another analysis for a buy if you're trading a different strategy. It just really depends. So, I mean, I'm not going to trade this, but we'll keep following it to see how it ends up, playing out over time. But all right, so that's it for US 30 right there. Let me see if there's anything else here before I. Steven said, I heard FTMO is the quickest way to success. Not really, Steven. I mean, if you suck at trade, like if someone sucks at trading and they do FTMO, it's not going to be successful for them. They're just going to keep losing money. If you can't trade properly with a normal account, you can't trade properly on FTMO. Like the money's not going to make a difference. If you lose trades trading your own account and then you just go to FTMO and you're like, oh, I get a big account, I'm going to be good. It's not going to make a difference. Like you have to get your trading down first before you actually do FTMO. Because just because you have a bigger account, it's not going to make you a better trader, right? If you suck at trading and then you go to FTMO, you're probably just going to keep losing. So the main thing, the key to success is really being a consistent trader. Because, yeah, exactly. No, so definitely, yeah. So Steven just corrected himself. He said, well, not success, but help growing capital. But yeah, you still have to be a good trader to grow your capital, right? Because, I mean, if you don't find success or you're not a profitable trader trading your own account, it's not really going to make a difference if you have more money. You're just going to give you more money to lose. So just keep that in mind. A lot of people like to tie that together. They think that, if they have a bigger account, they can take bigger risk. But with that bigger risk, they have bigger losses. So just keep that in mind. The account size isn't going to make a difference. You should be a profitable trader first before you even do FTMO. So just keep that in mind, guys, and just don't get too confused, right? Because a lot of people get that confused. They think, oh, I have more money to trade, it's going to be easier for me. But in reality, it's actually a lot more difficult because there's restrictions for FTMO. Wheelchair Pimpin', I think this is James, right? James is asking, what is your money management strategy? What percentage should I withdraw for living expenses? I mean, everyone's living expenses are different, James, right? So like your withdrawal would depend on how much money you need, right? You shouldn't be withdrawing too much because you won't be able to keep growing your account. Like obviously, if you want to compound your account, you need to leave money in there so it keeps growing. So I mean, it just depends on what are your living expenses, right? Like my living expenses are probably completely different for yours because I have like a high car payment. Like I have my Tesla Model X, so my car payment is pretty high. My living situation, I live like in a luxury apartment, so it costs a lot to live here. So I'm not sure what your situation is. For me, it's different because I live a different type of lifestyle. So depending on your lifestyle, that's how you could determine what your living expenses are. But you should never spend more than you have, right? Like, I work to get to this point. Like I work to be able to get the car that I have. I work to get to live where I'm living now. It's not like I became successful overnight, right? Like this was a long-term process. And that's why I'm able to live this type of lifestyle because of like the success I found with trading. So James, I think that question is going to be very specific to your specific circumstances, right? It just depends on what you what you need money for. Like, do you need a lot of money for your expenses? Do you have like things that you like to buy? Is there like certain things that you like to do? It just really depends. But if you're like not at that level yet, then you should be focused on growing your account rather than buying, fun things. Like you could have fun later. Just build your account and stay consistent. And once you have, you know, that excess profit from trading, then that's when you can start buying dumb things like what I'm doing now. So just keep that in mind. I mean, it just really depends on what you, on what your goals are. Like if your goals are to have materialistic things, then yeah, your expenses are going to be higher. But if not, and you just want to keep growing your account, then you shouldn't be withdrawing that much. Just withdraw what you need. But anyways, I'm going back to the chat over here. I went kind of off topic with that, but you know, that's because your question is kind of open-ended. Yeah, so James said that don't want to overdo. Yeah, so I mean, you know, what I would do, James, is I would you know, try to figure out what your expenses are, and then just, you know, have a concrete number that you need. Like if you need like a couple $1,000 a month, and that's what you have to withdraw, right, to just live. And I mean, that's kind of on the high end. You probably don't need that much to live a pretty modest life. So I don't know. It just really depends on your situation. So guys, I'm just looking at US 30. So remember earlier when I had that, let me see if I can still pull it up. I had that buy that was set up right here. Why did I take that thing off? Oh man, my bad guys. I had a buy that was set up here earlier, right? I'm just rewinding this to see if I can pull it back up. So we had a buy entry that was actually set right here. Oh, there we go. No, that wasn't that one. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is a buy that I marked up earlier. So I mentioned that it was going to come up and close out right here, right? And it's doing exactly what I mentioned earlier, right? Because like how I mentioned on Fridays, or not just Friday, but in general, if you look at CNBC, if this shows as red, so you see how it was initially red, midway through the market, it swings back in the other direction. So this is the buy that I marked up earlier, and it's going exactly where I mentioned, right? I identify this as a strong zone right here. So I think once it reaches this point, so this is going to be a zone of like an area where there's going to be a lot of liquidity, because this is probably where a lot of stop losses and orders are. There's probably buy stops here, and there's probably stop losses in this area. So once price reaches this point, it's either going to shoot up or it's going to reject back really hard, just depending if there's a lot of buy stops here or if there's a lot of selling pressure right here. So we'll see how this plays out, but this is the first markup that I had. Oh, that's why, because it was on the 10-minute. Okay, so this is what I marked up earlier for US 30 for that buy. If you guys go and rewind the live session, this is what I marked up, and it's now in profit. The only reason I marked up that sell was because you went on that 15-minute and it conflicted with my strategy here, right? Because over here was a sell on the 15, but on the 10 it was a buy because I marked this up earlier. So we'll see how this plays out off that point. But yeah, I mean that's basically, you know, how it would play out from that point. Steven said, that's what's so great. You kind of giving us the shortcut. Yeah, guys. So like basically I give you guys a blueprint, right? You guys see me trade every morning. I show you guys the same strategy that I applied. Like everything that I do, I actually teach you guys. I'm not hiding anything from you guys. Like literally you guys see me identify these trades here. Like for example, you know, identifying a scalp entry right here. Like I show you guys exactly what I look at. I'm not hiding anything. You guys know exactly what my thought process is. You guys just need the K2 indicators. Once you guys have the K2 indicators, you guys can apply this strategy and do exactly what I'm doing to find that shortcut to success, like what Steven was saying. But, you know, like going back to what I was saying earlier, Steven, I wasn't like necessarily targeting you when I was responding to that question. It was just other people who have like been in this chat before. A lot of people have done FTMO and a lot of people have failed, right? And the reason for that is because they don't have their trading down 100%. You have to have your trading down 100% before you do FTMO, because because the big account makes people cocky, right? You have like, they go from trading like $100 to like 100,000, right? And then people think that just because they have more money, it's going to be easier for them to trade. But in reality, it makes it harder because FTMO is pretty strict. So just keep that in mind, Steven. I mean, yeah, if you have this blueprint here of what I'm applying, then it's your shortcut to success, obviously, right? Because you're learning exactly what I'm doing and you're just mimicking what I'm doing. Because obviously I've shown you guys that I found success trading, and you guys, you know, whoever here has been copying, obviously, I mean, it's been pretty obvious. If we look at the saved messages here, there's a couple people here who passed FTMO, like Sisuk over here. He's about to pass his, let's see. Eric over here, he just passed his. So like Eric right here, he passed his FTMO in like a couple days or like, 1 or 2 days. So he had his 2 challenges right here. He has 110K. So these are pretty much done. He just needs to pass the trading day minimum, Deswell over here. So you guys can see that everyone here, if you like learn the blueprint from me of what I'm applying, you can apply these trades on your own. Like all these people here, this is on the 25th from last night. So 11 p.m. I stopped trading already at that point. Everyone here was still trading on their own. Like Henry over here was taking these sells, but I didn't call any of these trades. They were just applying these trades. Like, Eric over here is trading gold. I don't even trade gold. So he applied the strategy on his own and then made profit off right there. Delete this. These little Elon Musk scammers. Dude, I hate how like Telegram is so, it's so filled with all of these, all these scammers here. All right, guys. Sorry, I forgot to delete those yesterday. Here, let me message Harmony real quick. All right, sorry guys, I was just responding to new members here in K2's questions. So, all right. So anyways, going back to what I was saying earlier. All right, so B Money Shawn, let me take a look at GU real quick. So we'll leave US 30 here and we'll see how it plays out. And then I'm just going to answer any other questions here that you guys have. So if you guys want me to analyze anything for you guys, just put them in the chat. Like I mentioned, I'm not going to be trading today, this Friday. So I'm just going to be here answering questions for the most part. No problem, Harmony. There you go. Yeah, I was just confirming with Harmony, who's a new K2 member. Just wanted to make sure she had her access. She was just apologizing for disrupting the live, but it's fine. Today we're not really trading, so I'm here to answer any questions that you guys have. If you guys want me to cover any strategy, just put them in the chat, and I can show you guys what we're doing here. Because like I mentioned, I'm literally giving you guys a blueprint of how I trade. Like I'm not hiding anything. Like literally, if you guys see everything I do here and you watch every live session, you guys can see that I do the same thing every single day. It's not that difficult. The main key is that you just, you master my strategies. And if you guys want to find success trading, you guys can just copy what I'm doing. Not necessarily copy my trades, but copy my thought process when I analyze these charts. Because obviously what I'm doing works, because we've been doing this for like years now. And I just been, applying the same thing over and over again. So looking at GU right here, here's the zones that I drew up. Once I have the zones, I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator. Obviously, we have a sell signal right there. So looking at GU right here, B money. So we have that rejection off that point. We have the sell signal right here. And then what happens when this sets up? It pushes down to the next structure, right? So now price is right here attempting to break this structure. So when this candle closes in about 1 hour and 47 minutes, if this candle closes below this structure, then it's probably going to push down to this structure right here, right? It's the same pattern that's set up right over here. Rejection, sell signal, push down, right? When's the last time this happened? Right there, rejection, sell signal, push down to the next structure. And it goes both ways. For example, here it pushes down, it fails to break this structure. Then we have a rejection off here, buy signal, breaking close past structure. And what happened from there? It did the same thing, just in the opposite direction. So you guys can see here that if you guys are able to identify what I'm looking at here, you guys can make a ton of profit just trading both directions. Like right here, the sell, you could have locked in like 40 pips, 40, 50 pips. Right here, this buy, if you identified that, you could have locked in like 200 pips, right? Identified the sell right here, you could have locked in another 120 pips. So you guys can see that what I apply here is simple, right? It's not that difficult. I mean, you guys just, if you guys learn what I'm doing here and you guys are able to, execute yourself, you guys can make a ton of profit on your own. You don't really need me to call signals. And that's why I'm going away from the signals. I'm not really focused on signals. I'd rather teach you guys, basically like what you guys were saying yesterday, like me teaching you guys how to fish. Because if I teach you guys how to fish, you guys can do this on your own and you guys can make way more profit than just copying my signals. But I mean, both options are available to you guys. But yeah, anyway, so just looking at GU right here, B money, basically for this candle right here, we need it to close below this structure, right? So if it closes below this structure, then you can take a sell. However, if it rejects off this point and then provides a buy signal like this right here, see rejection off this point because it failed to close below, and then buy signal, then you can take a buy. But if it closes below here, you could take the sell. So it's just going to depend on, on how things are moving. I think the US dollar is strong right now, so this might break below here. However, it closes in about an hour 45. By that time, it's going to be close to market close for the weekend. So I probably wouldn't enter this trade, but if you are looking at this right now, that's, it's basically what I see happening right here for GU. So that's pretty much it for that one right there. Hey, Braden, morning. Braden's asking, do we have a name for the trading firm yet? Soon enough, it'll probably just be a K² Prop Trading or something like that. So if you guys sat in the live session yesterday, that's what Braden's referring to. What I was mentioning, because I'm still thinking of like, what are long-term goals for K2? Because like for now, I'm more focused on teaching, right? I don't really want to give signals anymore. I mean, obviously, if you guys are members, I'm going to give you guys the signals. I'm just going to share my trades. But I'm more focused on teaching you guys what I'm doing here, because obviously what I'm doing is working. And, all of these profits here. So this is what I was thinking, guys. Like, look at all these profits here, right? Let me see if I can find this over here real quick. Sorry, let me, okay, so looking at the same messages here, like you guys can see here that everyone is killing in K2, right? Like everyone has a ton of profit here. Like literally everyone, like these aren't even trades that I called. I didn't call any of these buy trades right here. Deswell took these on his own. And like literally everyone is just killing it every day. Like literally every day people are locking in like thousands, right? Eric over here locked in 5,000 yesterday. Sam over here locked in a couple thousand off here. And these are different people. Chelsea over here locked in 3,000. Look at this. This is crazy, right? So the thing is, everyone here is using my strategy. Like Jerry over here is using my strategy too. He made 8,554. He was like 1,500 away from passing my FTMO. K2 is the go, right? So with this right here, you guys can see that I have like my strategy works. It's clear that it works, right? So what my plan is, probably like within the next couple months or so, maybe I'll just start my own funding company and I'll just teach you guys how to trade so you guys can make money. And then so you guys can just trade my accounts for me, like, manage my money, and I don't have to trade anymore. I'll just teach you guys. I'll teach you guys the blueprint, show you guys how to do exactly what I'm doing so that you guys can keep killing it. And then as you guys kill it, you guys can use my funding to just, grow my accounts. So, it's a win-win for both of us, or for all of us actually here, because I'm teaching you guys how to trade how I do, because obviously it works. And, it's a win-win for all of us. And I'll probably give you guys better terms too, because I was talking to, I don't know if Jaime is in here. So I was talking to Jaime yesterday, and he was asking, if my terms are going to be similar to FTMO. And I was like, I'm not going to be greedy with it. I'm going to give you guys better terms. So instead of just giving you guys 80% split, I'll increase it. I'll give you guys a little more, because what we have here works. So if, like, just thinking of this for an example, like imagine like all these people here trading my accounts, right? Imagine Sisuk, who's locking 1,000 a day. Imagine Sisuk trading my funding, Eric trading my funding, Deswell trading my funding, everybody here trading my funding. If all you guys are doing the same thing that I'm teaching you guys, this, like, I don't even have to manage accounts or do anything. Like literally you guys can just trade my, you guys should trade my strategy. Look at Mo over here, 700. Kirsten over here, 43. It doesn't matter if it's big or small profits. If you guys are making profits, we all get a nice split out of that, right? Braden over here, 2,000. If you guys can mimic what I'm doing every single day, like Mark over here, 2,000. If you guys can just keep killing it, and then I just help you guys get your, like, step up your trading, then, like, look at this. If everyone's locking about 1,000 each person, like literally everyone's locking a ton of profit here. Braden locking in like 1,000, John over here locking in like $30. Like it doesn't matter, Tam over here locked in 1,000, and these are all different people. Henry, Patricia, 2,000, Crabman over here, Paco, he locked in 100 off that. Eunice over here locking about 1,000. So if I just keep teaching you guys and, showing you guys exactly what I'm doing, then I won't have to trade. And then I'll just, we all make profit. You guys make profit. I make some of your profit. And then we're all in this together. So that's probably the next move for K2. Instead of going towards signals, I'm going towards maybe funding. So I'll just fund you guys and teach you guys how to trade so that we all win here, right? Because obviously, you know, my strategies here work for everybody. So why not start our own funding company? So that's probably the next move for us guys at K2, because you guys can see that, you know, literally everyone here is killing it. And it just wouldn't make sense because we're all here on the same path. We're all here trying to make profit off this. And if we just keep trading the same way, it just wouldn't make sense. We just keep it all in-house. So that's another reason why I'm thinking of closing the sign up. So like for K2 over here, if you guys want to sign up, it's still available. You go to k2trades.com, sign up for the strategy course. But once I start getting the funding company going, I'm not going to be teaching anybody, like random people anymore. It's only going to be people within K2 who actually know the system, because I don't want people trading my system and doing it incorrectly, right? I want you guys to trade and be profitable, because if you guys go off track and you guys aren't profitable, then we're not going to make money, right? So I want you guys to be profitable so that we all win. But yeah, I mean, that's probably the next goal. And that's what Braden was mentioning, because he was asking if we have a name for the funding firm yet, or for the trading firm yet. And it's I mean, we'll think about it. You know, we'll brainstorm, but it'll definitely probably just be like something simple, like K2 funding or something like that. All right, so Renee wants me to take a look at NASDAQ. So let me pull up NASDAQ for you guys real quick. And congrats to everybody, guys. You know, like this is crazy that like we're so consistent here at K2. Like just looking at this every day, it's like we would go from like you could see other groups where they'll send profits like every couple of days. We send profits every single day. Like literally, there's always someone in K2 that's profiting and killing it. And it's like sometimes it's not even me. It's like literally everybody. Because like I don't trade London session, but you guys do, and that's probably the best session to trade. But anyways, all right, let me go back over here real quick. And like with me teaching, well, if I start the funding company, guys, that's going to be incentive for me to make sure that you guys are profitable. Because if you guys aren't profitable, I'm not going to make any money, right? So obviously I want to make sure that you guys kill it and you guys stay profiting and you guys stay on point, so that I could keep profiting as well. Because, you know, obviously if me trading by myself, it's going to be way different versus me having people trading for me or with me. And it's just going to make a huge difference from there. But anyways, going back to NASDAQ right here. So we have the zones drawn up from this point. I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator right here. And then we're going to identify. So basically right here, price is ranging within these two zones right here, this upper zone and this lower zone. We have the rejection from this point. We have the buy signal right here. So basically what we'd be looking for here is for price to break and close past this structure right here. So we would want price to break and close past this structure right here. And then we would, you know, obviously push it from that point. But until this breaks above here, Renee, we're probably not going to like even look at this, because it's just going to range between this area. So if price doesn't break and close past here, it's just going to bounce back and forth within this area right here until it breaks above or breaks below. So just keep that in mind. For these right here, there's just, you know, price is just within a range right now. The main thing that we're looking for here is for price to either break above here, or if it ends up rejecting from here, closing below here. So just keep that in mind. But the NASDAQ is just ranging sideways right now. So there's not really much to look at this point. Hey, Dion. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while. Dion, how you been? Dion said, hope you're good, brother. Keep doing your thing. Definitely, Dion. I'm glad to see you here. It's been a couple months. I know you've probably been busy over there with work and stuff. Manuel said, I'll sign up. Definitely. Karen said, where do we sign up? Alan said, where do we sign up? Yeah, guys. So when I do have that funding stuff set up, I'll definitely, and you know, whoever's in K2 is going to get priority, right? Because we have like hundreds of people in K2 anyways. So I'm going to make sure that you guys stay killing it so that, you know, you guys are on point with it, especially with the scalps. Because you guys can see here, like our scalps this week, guys, we made some crazy profit this week off those scalps. So here's Sisuk over here. He set some more profits in the chat right there. I'll just, wow, yeah. So nice work, Sisuk. So if you guys are here in the premium, you guys can see everyone's profits that everyone's posting. Sisuk posted his profits right there, again right there. Eric over here identified, what is this, on the US 30? Looks like he's looking for a sell. Here's Cheryl over here, looking about 226. Yeah. had a safest. So Cheryl over here, she was scalping the DAX in the UK 100. Nice profit off that, 200. She had another account right here. She made 500 off that. And then another one over here, she made some more. So 752 off those accounts. I know she has a couple accounts here, like maybe 3 accounts or so. So nice work off that, Cheryl. Let me just copy this over to our saved messages. So like this just, this just reiterates what I'm showing you guys. I'm not calling any trades today, right? I called no trades today, but Cheryl over here is applying the strategy on her own. Look how much she's made so far. Like just trading the strategy on her own. And I'm here, I just want to teach you guys. Like I'd rather teach you guys to learn what I'm doing, so I don't have to do the heavy work anymore. So here's Cheryl's profits for the week. I'm assuming she made 23,000 applying the strategy on her own. And that matching that with mine, let's Braden over here. So let me just copy this over real quick. Oh, for 1 week. So Cheryl over here, she put the dates from February 20 to February 26. So in 1 week, she locked in 23K off. So she's killing it. Let's see Braden over here too. Wow. Okay. So Braden locked in another 1,000 too. See, this is like something that I'm not even like, I didn't call any of these trades here for you, Jay, but Braden applied the strategy on his own and he locked in 1,281 for the day. So I didn't any of these trades here. So everyone's killing it, guys. I mean, it's not just me, and this is why I'd rather create a funding company, because if you guys are killing it using my strategy, then imagine 100 people applying my strategy and killing it, right? It just wouldn't make sense for me not to create a funding company, because you guys are killing it just doing my own. So Cheryl said, okay, stop, enough showing off. Everyone have a great weekend. Let's do it again next week. Big profits for everyone. Definitely. So see you next week, Cheryl. Great profits for Eunice over here. See, look at Eunice. Eunice just got the indicators like last weekend. So Eunice upgraded to the indicators, I think right here. See, Eunice literally just started watching the videos on February 23rd. What's today, February 26th? Eunice went from making, learning the strategy to 3 days later, Eunice is making 1,000. Eunice is making another 3,000. Eunice is like identifying these trades without me even like, look, Eunice is like, took this scalp. What do you think? I didn't even answer the question. I was like, oh, it looks great. Great entry. Eunice showed me the update, full TP. Like I didn't even call this trade. Eunice just took it on their own. And then again, right now, Eunice took trades for gold, trades for US 30, trades for GN, locked in another 3,539. So congrats, Eunice, on that. And congrats to everybody on it. See, so like, it's just more incentive for me to create the funding company that everyone can just trade my strategies and keep killing it. And that's the whole gist of a prop firm, right? A prop firm is they have a proprietary strategy that they apply. And then what happens from there is they just keep trading that strategy. They make the person of like who owns the strategy money. So that's the goal. I'm probably gonna work on that this week actually, because yeah, I mean, this is crazy. It's crazy how accurate I won. Nice work, Eunice. I'm not sure if you're in the if you're here in the live, Eunice, but I'm just gonna respond to you on there as well. So that's great. It's great profit off that. All right, so guys, anyways, back to NASDAQ. So Renee said, yeah, same view on NASDAQ, thanks. So no problem, Renee, that's what I see happening there. We'll just wait for it to close above or below, and then you can determine whether you want to make that trade or not. So looking at US 30, this is what I mean right here, right, guys? So look at this choppiness right here. It's Friday. This is normal market conditions. The scalp entry actually filled right there. So if you took that there, it looks like you would hit TP. I think someone mentioned that, right? Let me check the chat real quick. I think someone mentioned that there was a sell here. Oh yeah, so Eric is actually the one that mentioned it. So Eric over here marked up. This is what I'm talking about. Like Eric over here marked up his chart. He was on the 10-minute, identified this rejection off this point for a scalp entry. So you guys can see that Eric has the indicators. He's doing it himself. He identified that sell there. So if he took that, he would have hit full TP off there, right? Closed. He would enter to sell, full TP. So this is what I mean about, it's better for me to teach you guys how to trade because it just works out better that way. So that's it. Let me see. Aleph said, do you think K2 strategy for Forex using H4 timeframe is better for someone having a 9 to 5? Yeah, definitely, Aleph. if you're trading on the 4-hour like I do for Forex over here, it makes the most sense to trade that way if you're working a normal 9 to 5, because you'll have set times where you're looking for trades, right? You're not looking for trades every 30 minutes. You're not looking for trades every hour. You're just looking for trades when they appear. And then once they appear, you can take those trades. So definitely agree that the 4-hour is the best time frame for Forex trades. But yeah, so I think that's about it, guys. Let me see if there's any other questions here real quick. Let's see. So let me just scroll up. Sorry, let me just scroll up real quick. I see a bunch of questions here in the Zoom. So Kirsten said sell scalp on US 30 previous candle. So yeah, Kirsten actually caught that as well. I don't know if you guys can see the Zoom chat over here. If you guys are in the Zoom, if you guys are in the premium, Kirsten mentioned that at 811, let me go back to US 30. So she said 811, which is right here. Yeah, that's exactly where I marked it up, right? She said sell scalp on US 30 previous candle. So hopefully you caught that, Kirsten. I'm not sure if you did. Trying to see. Yeah. So if you did catch that right there, you would have hit full TP. So I'm not sure if you guys can see this on my screen. I don't think you guys can, but if you guys are in the premium, you guys will see that. Oh no. So Kirsten said she didn't take it. Unfortunately, she missed it. But that was a good call, Kirsten. So you didn't take that trade, but if you did take it, you would have hit full TP right there, right? So great call on that. And you know, this shows that you're getting it too. So Kirsten's a new member to K2 as well. She's been learning and she's been getting on point with it. So that's always a good thing that you're identifying. Even though you're not getting the trade, at least you identified it. So next time you know exactly what to look out for you know, these specific entries. So anyways, let me go back over here real quick and see if there's anything else to respond to. All right, so Steven said, so with that bug space on GU, when would you take the trade using intraday? So right here, Steven, looking at GU over here, price would need to close below the structure. So this right here would need to close. If it doesn't close below that and it rejects off it, there's no entry. So like, for example, right here, same zone, but the opposite direction. When this closed above here, we would have taken that buy because we had a buy signal right here. Vice versa here, we would take the sell because we have a sell signal right here, right? So we would need this to close below here, but we still got an hour and 28 minutes left on this candle, which is a long time. So a lot can happen from now until then. All right, so Joe said, can you go over the snipe strategy? I haven't watched those videos yet, but I've been on the live for the last few days, so I sort of know how it works. And Joe said, don't have a time limit on the challenge to get funded, please. Yeah, no, definitely, Joe. So for me, like when I start the funding company for K2, there's not going to be a time limit, right? Because we're all applying the same strategy. So I'll know if the market's not moving well. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to give you like a whole year to take the trades. Like I'll give you a couple months, but you should be able to pass the challenge within like a few days or not, or whatnot, because you know, we're all applying the same strategy here. So anyways, going back to the scalp strategy, I'll go over that for Joe real quick. So here, let me just go and rewind this to I'll rewind to this right here, and I'll show you guys the K2 snipe strategy for you guys that haven't picked up on it yet. So this is the K2 snipe strategy, 10-minute time frame, US 30. So first, you just want to confirm wick rejection off K2 pivot, any pivot. Second, you want to confirm wick rejection off K2 SR zone. And then lastly, you want to confirm wick rejection off K2 pivot does not touch a candle. And then lastly, you can enter on the open of the following candle. All right, so that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a very, very simple strategy. There's like literally no guesswork there. That's what a lot of people like about my strategies, is that they're all rule-based, right? There's no confusion here. There's no subjectivity. Like literally you just check it off. You check it off the list. For one, you confirm a wick rejection of K2 pivot. Right here, you can see that this wick is rejecting off the K2 pivots right there, right? It's actually rejecting off all the pivots. So that's the first requirement. The second requirement is confirm wick rejection of the K2 SR zone. This is the K2 SR zone right here. If I hide this off chart and I turn on the K2 SR zone, you can see that there is a zone right over there, right? So with the zone right here, I just draw my zone over it. And then from that point, that confirms the second requirement. So we have the first requirement, wick rejection off the pivot, wick rejection off the zone. And then you just want to confirm that the pivots aren't touching the body. So this pivot is rejecting on this wick right here. You want to make sure that this red pivot isn't touching the body, which it obviously isn't. And then you can enter on the open of the falling candle right here. So with that said, we usually go for a 500 range for a US 30 scalp. And if you were to take that trade there, what do you know? Full TP, right? Within a few seconds. And that's how accurate the system is. So again, right there, there's another entry at this point. Same thing. Look, we're looking for a wick rejection off the K2 pivot, which can be any pivot. It's rejecting off this yellow pivot right here. So I'm going to line this up. That's requirement number one. Requirement number two is a wick rejection off the K2SR zone. Right here, we have this zone up here. So from this point, all right, so I think I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. Going back to this this analysis right here of the strategy, Joe. So basically, the first requirement was met. We have wick rejection off the pivot. Second, we have the wick rejection off the structure. Third, we confirm the pivot doesn't touch the body, right? So we enter a short position right here. And then we set it to 500 pips. And then we let it run. And then full TP on that next candle. So this is what we talk about with these scalps, right? Scalps are quick movements. We just want to get in and out really quickly rather than go for those big moves, even though you can go for the big moves because obviously right here, it continues to push down, right? But then it shoots back up. So that's pretty much the strategy right there. Joe, hopefully that helps. I'm going to be creating, an actual video explaining the strategy like in a while. It's just, I'm just trying to test it out a little more before I make the actual video to see if there's anything else that I need to include with the strategy. So that's pretty much it for that one right there. All right, so let me see if there's anything else before we continue on. Joe said, in my opinion, it leads to overtrading to meet a 30-day deadline. Yeah, exactly, Joe. I agree, and that's why I would give you guys a little more time to complete it. So Donnie said, is that current candle on US 30 a valid scalp? So let's see, US 30. No, I'm not sure where you saw that, Donnie. So your message was that you just sent that message right now. I don't see any scalp entry for US 30 aside from this one, Donnie. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but this would have been an entry off here. Would have hit TP already, but you sent that message at 8:30 right now, so I don't really see any other entries that were available, at this specific candle right here, because there would need to be a zone around this area, but there's no zones down here. But this would be an entry on this point right here, if this is what you were talking about, Donnie. So I'm not sure if that's what you were referring to or if you saw something different, but the most recent entry would have been this one right here. So that's it for that one right there. Hey, what's up, Ankura? What's up, bro? So I think that's it for the questions. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Like I mentioned, today's Friday. The market's closing in about 3 hours or so, so I'm not going to be trading at all. But I'm just here to answer questions if you guys have anything on your mind. Yes, Donnie said, I meant the previous candle. So the bearish candle on the red pivot. Sorry, Donnie, I don't really see what you mean. So I'm looking, are you talking about this one right here? This, no, there's no entry there. I'm not sure. Let me see, I just went over the requirements over here. Let me see if I still have them. So there needs to be a rejection off the zone. There's no zone down here, Donnie. There has to be a rejection off the zone. Like there's two requirements here. It's really simple. It's just two requirements: rejection off the pivot and the zone. Look, rejection off the pivot in the zone, right? Super simple. There's no rejection off a zone here, so there's no entry down here. You need to have the a zone down there in order for there to be an entry. So that's pretty much, you know, how the requirement works. Yeah, okay, no problem, Donnie. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, yeah. So you were missing the zone part. That's why I was a little confused, because you said the red candle, so I wasn't sure if there was one over here, but I didn't see one. But yeah, so you would need the zone part in order for there to be an entry off that scalp. So this is why we wouldn't take it, because it would have shot right up and you would have gotten stopped out. So here, let me see if there's anything else here real quick. Yeah, Samurai said US 30 making a bearish W pattern. Let me check that real quick. What time frame are you looking on, Samurai? I know you like to look on the higher time frame, so I was going to pull it up on the time frame that you're looking at so I can take a look, but I'm not sure which one you're looking at necessarily. US 30. I'm assuming you're like maybe on the daily or something, right? So let's see. Samurai said, oh yeah, nice. So Samurai said, if you're in the UK, there's a tax loophole on options. It's tax-free options make sense in the UK. Nice. Might have to move to the UK for a bit to trade some options. But yeah, going back to here. So Samurai mentioned on the 10-minute W. Here, I'm just gonna go over here real quick. I'm gonna see what Samurai is. Okay, so Samurai said 10-minute price action around your zones for US 30. So I'll just draw some zones around this area to see what Samurai is looking for. Gotcha. All right, so I'll just draw these zones right here. The other ones are kind of relevant. They're too far out. Oh, I can see what you're saying right here, down here, right? I don't know if there's a tool for a W, but let me see. So we have the 1U right here and then right here. Oh, so I can see it. You think it's going to go up right from this point, Samurai? Yeah, I can see the pattern right there off this candle. There goes the first W and then the second W right there. So I don't know if there's a tool here that I can use for that. Okay, so Emma said you can see it better on the 5 minutes. Let me go on the 5-minute real quick. Because it's okay, I can see it perfectly right here. So nice, yeah, nice work, guys. So this is what's good about K2, right? We all help each other here. We're not trying to hide anything. It's literally, we're just we're helping each other literally master this stuff. So like looking at this here, let's see. I know there's a tool that people use sometimes where you can draw shapes, but I don't know what it. Oh, path. Maybe this is it right here. There we go. Oh shit. Whoops. My bad, guys. There we go. So yeah, that's the W pattern that Samurai and Emma just mentioned. Nice. So yeah, it does look good off this here. Okay, cool. So Samurai uses the X ABCD tool. So yeah, I guess I can use the path tool, or I can use that other one too, the X ABCD tool. Yeah, like I normally don't trade patterns. The only time I trade patterns is when Samurai mentions something, because they usually line up pretty nicely. And that's cool that we, that's the cool thing about being here in K2 is because we all have different, like not everyone uses the same strategy as I do, but we could have oh, okay, I see that. Nice. Yeah, no, definitely. I think there's another name for this pattern too. I've seen it before. I think people call it like the bat pattern, or like the golly or something like that. I don't know what it's called, but I've seen some people use this certain setup as well. But yeah, that's a nice W right there for you guys. So looking at that there, I guess it's probably gonna be bullish for US 30. But like I mentioned, this is why I don't trade on Fridays, because the market's so choppy. Obviously there were some sell entries here for US 30, and then now it's pushing up the opposite way. So let me see if there's anything else here real quick. Fishing with Key said, I'm trying to sign up. Nice fishing with Key. Yeah, so definitely if you want to sign up, just go on the website, k2trades.com, click on K2 strategy course right here, and then you can sign up to get these K2 indicators so that you can identify these points. So let me see if there's anything else here real quick. Kimmy says, the candle on the 15-minute time frame a valid sell, and what would have been TP? So let me go here on the 15-minute. Here, let me see what you were looking at here, Kimmy, because I did see a sell here. It was just, like I was mentioning earlier, I wouldn't take any trades right now because it's Friday. Market usually moves a little irregular on Friday because a lot of people are getting in and out of the market before the weekend. So that's why you kind of see a lot of choppiness, back and forth movement in the market on Fridays. It's just like, it's way too uncertain for me to really want to trade on Friday because it really is a huge risk. If you think about it, it's a big risk to trade on days like this because you really never know if price is moving smooth or if it's just choppy for the day. So after drawing these zones right here, I'm gonna turn this off. So there was actually a couple entries here that were available, Kimmy. So there was actually one here, this green one. There was one right here. And I think that was it. So looking at this right here, if you were to take this one, I guess you're, honestly, I don't trade on the 15, so I don't know what the sweet spot would be, but it looks like we're normally trade at 500 pips on the 10-minute. So I'm assuming it'd just be a little bit higher, maybe 75. So if that was the case, looks like you probably would have hit TP off this one right here, which would be the most recent entry. I'm just going off the most recent entry right here, guys. I'm not like pointing anything specific out, but just looking at this here because Kimmy was mentioning if there was a sell. So there's no entry here. There's no entry here. There's no entry here because there's no rejection off the pivot. But for this green one right here, there's a rejection off this yellow pivot. So that's why I marked it up right there. And that would be a sell entry. But I'm not sure what the TP would be because I don't trade on the 15-minute. So I'm not sure what the sweet spot would be on here. But I'm assuming it'd just be a little bit farther than what we do on the 10-minute, right? Because on the 10-minute, we go for 500 pips, which would be here. On the 15, you probably just spread it out a little wider, maybe 600 pips, maybe 700 pips, who knows? Just whatever you find a sweet spot for. It looks like it'd probably be around 70, 75, somewhere around there. So yeah, this would be the most recent entry there. But like I mentioned, I personally wouldn't have taken it, Kimmy, because look at like how choppy it is, right? Price comes down. So it probably would have hit your TP before it shot up, but yeah, hit your TP there. And then it shot down about 1,000 pips, 1,300 pips. And then it shot all the way back up another 2,000 pips, right? It's just way too choppy for us to really want to take these trades. Here, let's see real quick. So, oh yeah, okay, yeah. So Samurai, he confirmed what I mentioned. So it's that W that we were looking at earlier was either called a Gartley or a bat pattern. Gotcha. Okay, so Samurai said if your stop covers the 88.6 for trace, you can cover the harmonic pullbacks with the W shape Gartley or bats. Okay, that's good to know, Samurai. I'm glad that we're sharing ideas here because I don't trade patterns at all. So that's kind of a better confirmation for me to look at my trades whenever I take something specific. But yeah, definitely appreciate having you here, Samurai, because you definitely help us a lot. And I'm sure we give you some ideas as well when we look at things on our chart too. So Samurai said fear harmonics due to deep retrace. Gotcha. Okay, no, definitely. I'll definitely keep that in mind with our next positions that we look at. So let me see this real quick and see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Okay, so Varun's asking, is this scalp valid? Sorry, but I'm not sure which one you're referring to. If you're referring to something on the 15-minute or if you're referring to something on the 10-minute. Yeah, but I'm not sure. Let me see. Yeah, Trell just mentioned. Okay, gotcha, on the 10-minute. Yeah, so this is the same one that we're looking at for both Varun and Trell. So looking at this here, I was just checking to see if any new zones were created right there. I don't see any new zones. So just looking at this here, I mean, technically this would be a valid, if it closes in the next 50 seconds, this would be a valid sell, but I'm not, I'm personally not going to take this trade because it's just too choppy. Like these candles have been moving like 2000 pips. If your TP stop loss is 500 pips, you're probably going to either hit TP or get stopped out really quickly. So it's just moving. The volatility is just way too high. But this technically would be a valid sell right here if it closes. This is this would be a valid sell here for both you, Varun, and Trell. If you decided, I'll mark it up, but I'm not going to take it. Like I mentioned, this is a very, very risky trade. So I personally wouldn't take it. But if you guys want to, I'll just mark it up here so that you guys can follow it. I'm definitely not trading today at all. I'm just going to be waiting for this to, so let's see, candle close in about a second. There you go. So this would have been the entry right here. If you were taking the scalp, obviously I'm not taking it, but we can follow it for you guys. So we'll let that play out, and then I'll keep going through the chat to see if there's any other questions here. Yes, Kirsten. So I just saw your question on the Zoom, Kirsten. This would be the a sell here, a valid sell using the scalp strategy. So let's see if it hits. Hopefully it hits. I want it to hit so that you guys, your analysis can play out properly. And you guys can see here, if you guys have the indicators, you guys can apply this yourself. I teach you guys exactly what I do. There's nothing different. Literally the same thing that I would apply if I was to take this trade here. So yeah, if I saw this here, I would have taken it if it wasn't Friday, but today is Friday, so I wouldn't have taken this trade. But okay, so let me scroll up a little bit, see if there's anything else that I'm missing here. CT said harmonics or wax objective. Yeah, I mean, personally, that's why I don't trade patterns, because, I don't see everything that everyone else sees. Like how like Samurai saw that W pattern, right? I couldn't see it unless I went down on that 5 minute, thanks to who mentioned earlier? Thanks to Harris. So Harris mentioned that it looked better on the 5. So looking at the 5, it looked a whole lot, better for us to analyze that. So, I mean, yeah, I personally don't like trading patterns at all because I don't like subjectivity. I like objectivity, right? I like to have just a rule-based strategy where I can just check things off. I'm like, all right, check. There's a rejection off the pivot, rejection off the structure, take the trade. I don't have to guess. Because like when you look at patterns, like, like Samurai, he's a more experienced pattern trader, so he can see patterns that I can't see. So, it's a give or take. It really depends if it's your strategy. If it fits your trading style, then apply it. If it doesn't, then, use something that actually fits. So let me see over here real quick if there's anything else before we continue. So CT said 3 minute NAST long. So CT, you use the zones on the 10 minute, right? Because if I remember correctly, that's what you do. You draw the zones on the 10 minute, but then you look at the entries on the 3 minute. So here, let's see. I'm just going on the 10 minute real quick. I'm going to draw these zones that we were just talking about. And then I know you look at entries on the 3 minutes. So maybe that's something that we can start applying too for some quicker entries. I don't know, CT might be onto something. If you guys saw CT's trades yesterday, this dude killed it off NASDAQ. Let me see if I can pull it up over here. Let me see, CT. So yeah, CT over here, this dude locked in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 wins off NASDAQ. Like, check this out, guys. He marked it up. So he marks up his zones on the 10 minute, but he trades on the 3 minute. And just look at all these wins here that CT was sending me. Like literally back-to-back wins in both directions. He was taking buys and sells both ways. He was like, oh, I'm done. He's like, no, actually, I'm not done. So this is on the 25th. He was sending me all his trades on the 24th, from the 24th up until the 25th. So CT was literally killing it, like taking all these trades. He was trading gold. He was trading NASDAQ right here. He had his first 3 wins right there, 1, 2, 3. And then his next one over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then he had another one here for 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see that this way that he looks at. Let me see. Varun said, where are the horns at? Oh, wow. So full TP off that. So nice work, Varun. And who else called it? So let's see. Varun called that trade right there. And there was one other person, sorry, Trell. So Varun and Trell, it just hit full TP. So let me get your horns out over here real quick. So there's your horns, Varun. So nice work off that scalp right there for you guys that called it right. I wish I would have taken it, but like I mentioned, I don't want to be risky today. So you guys can see here that I'm not even calling these trades. Like other K2 members are identifying these entries, and they're killing it, guys. So you guys can see here, if you have access to the K2 indicators, you guys can identify these trades yourself. Like I didn't even identify this. This was something that Bruin and Trail mentioned to me. I marked it up for you guys. I didn't even take the trade, but they took it and full TP off that. So nice work, guys. And this is more reason for me to create a prop firm, right? To fund you guys to trade my strategies because they actually work. Like I didn't even call this. See, if you guys call this, took the trade and won, then I would have taken a cut of your funding win right there, right? Like FTMO. Like if I take a win, they keep 30% of my profits, right? Or I forgot, what is it, 70? Yeah, they keep 30% of my profits. For me, I'll probably give you guys a better cut. I'll give you guys like maybe a definitely higher than a 70. And then if we just keep winning, taking these same trades, we all win, right? I win, you win, everyone in K2 wins. So that was a nice call there for you guys. So great work off that, Bruin and Trell. Let me check the chat to see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Oh, back to NASDAQ, sorry. So looking at NASDAQ here, I was just looking at these zones on the 10-minute. And then CT likes to execute his trades on the 3-minute. So here's the zones on the 10-minute. Now we go down to the 3-minute. I was trying to see what you saw here, CT. I don't see anything here on the 3-minute. Let me see. CT mentioned 3-minute NAS long, unless you were looking at the zones on the 3-minute too. Maybe you changed up your strategy a little bit. I don't know. But yeah, looking at NASDAQ right here, I don't really see an entry off the 3-minute. I think the most recent entry actually would have been this one right here. So just looking at this right here, if you're applying CT strategy, he draws the zones on the 10-minute, and then he finds these rejections on the 3-minute right there, that green one. If you took that trade right there, which was about, this is probably the trade that you were talking about, is about like 20 minutes ago. If you took that trade there for a long, what do you know, full TP. So yeah, nice identification on that. CT. Oh, actually, okay. So CT changed the strategy a little bit. He's identifying zones on the 30-minute. So let me just check that out real quick. If there's any zones down here. All right. So if I delete everything off here and then I draw my zones on the 30-minute, I'm just looking at CT strategy, guys. This isn't even mine. Like I don't even know. CT found something brand new here off this higher time frame. So looking at that there, go back on the 3-minute. Let me see. Yeah, so looking at this here, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to apply these strategies, right? There's not just one way to apply it. Like CT over here is experimenting using different zones. And if you did use that zone right there, this would have been a full TP right here as well, it looks like. So there's a lot of things to do. I mean, there's a lot of ways to experiment with the strategy. Obviously, I give you guys a blueprint of how I apply it, but you guys don't have to apply it the same way. You guys can change things up, and then you guys can apply things on your own. So CT said to check out the 3-minute zones. I don't really see a zone here right off the 3-minute CT. I just see this one right here, and I see this one down here. But I mean, even if this was the case down here, you probably would have had some entries somewhere around here. Yeah, I don't really see any entries here on the 3-minute CT. Well, I mean, you had that. So let me go back to that other one. So we had the 30-minute zone that was right there. And then if I turn on the 3-minute zones, looks like we got something over here. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Oh, so you have this open right now. What's your TP look like? CT, I'm not sure what you trade on the 3-minute. because I think the sweet spot for NASDAQ is what, like 250. So it probably would hit TP, but I don't know if you have a little wider. So you might have been using a wider TP, which is fine. I mean, it looks like it still hits regardless. Yeah. So this is CT's trade that's open. I don't know what its TP looks like. I don't know if you're going for 500 or anything less than that. But if you are going for 500, it looks like it's still technically active right now and on its way up, unless you took one of these other ones, because there was a bunch of entries here. There was that red one. That's one entry. There's another entry right here. Another one for this green one. Okay, gotcha. So CT is aiming for this area right here. So I'm going to go and hide these zones. His TP is going to be right over there. It looks like it's about sweet spot of about 400, it looks like, for just this specific move, because he's going for the top zone. So I usually put it slightly below. So nice work, CT. Looks like it's about to hit TP off that one right there. So that looks good for the most part off this entry. All right, cool. So let me see if there's anything else here that I missed. All right, I'm just looking at you guys. You guys had your other conversations going on over there. Yeah, exactly. CT said not greedy on a Friday. Exactly. I mean, not even risky for me. I'm not even trying to trade it. CT sent me a chart here. Nice. Nice work off that, CT. He did exactly what I just drew up right now, right? So you guys can see, if you guys have the K2 indicators, you guys can do this all on your own. Like I did this here live for you guys on the screen. Then CT sent me his chart and it looks exactly the same, right? He has this upper zone right here. I have this upper zone right here. CT has this lower zone right here. I have this lower zone right here. So pretty much everything right here pretty much lines up perfectly. And it looks like CT is about to hit his full TP right off of there. Yeah, it's cool that you use the VPVR on this CT. You basically identify the volume right there, right? You identify the volume from that point, the push up, come back down for a retrace, rejection off this point, and a push up higher. So that's like one thing that you guys can use too. I used to use a VP VR as well. I basically identify, the volume. There's high volume here. It comes up. So there was a ton of volume around this area. So it comes up, comes back down, continued volume push right there to CT's full TP. Oh yeah, exactly. So I just saw CT's message here. He said, if you look at the chart on Telegram, I'm also using bounces off of volume. So that's exactly what I just mentioned too. So yeah, no, see, our analysis lines up. It lines up the same off here as well. Biko said, Shawn, how can I get the 10-minute time frame on MT4 because it jumps from 5 to 15? So on MT4, there's no 10-minute time frame, Biko. That's why we use a trading view, because you can use custom time frames on here. But on MT4, there's no option for that. So let me check the Zoom real quick to see if I missed any questions over here. I just want to make sure I answer everyone's questions, before we log off for the day. Because obviously it's a slow day today, so there's not really much for us to look at. Man, I don't know what happened to the chat window here on my Zoom. My Zoom chat window's all screwed up. Oh, here we go. All right, let me zoom down real quick. So here, let's see. So Ivan's asking CT, why do you use Owanda's data, not currency.com or Forex if available? Because the VPVR indicator, the volume indicator that he's using, Ivan, this one right here, it only works on Owanda because they have volume data. If you use the VPR indicator on currency.com, it doesn't have it. So I only know that because I have used that indicator before. So volume profile, he uses visible range. You guys can see right here that it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work at currency.com. That's why he uses Owanda data for his trades, because he wants to identify where the volume is. I mean, there's other ways to identify it too. You can use like the built-in indicator. If you just type in volume, you can use that too, but I don't know if all of them have it. Yeah, this doesn't even have it either. So depending on which indicators you want to use, some brokers don't provide volume. I know Owanda does, and that's probably why CT uses that one. So let me see everything else over here. Nice, Patricia. So Patricia took the weekend off. She said, have a great weekend, everyone. Yeah, so enjoy your weekend. You and Robert, Patricia, you guys killed it this week with those profits. So you guys earned your weekend. All right, let me see if there's anything else real quick. All right, so Badir is asking, there is a sell signal for EG on the 4 hour. So let me just pull up EG real quick for you guys. And, guys, just a reminder, if you guys have questions, put them in the chat. We're not really trading today. Well, I'm not trading actively, so I'm able to answer questions for you guys here. So Badir did mention that there's a sell signal right here for EG. It just depends on what you're applying, Badir. Like this sell signal could indicate that price is coming down, but it can reject off this point right here. The only way I would take a sell off this point is if it closed below the structure. So I would need price to close below here for me to take an actual sell, because it can reject off any point here. It could come down here, reject right here, reject right here, reject down here. It just really, just really depends on where it plans on rejecting from, but it can reject from like any point over here. So this is why I wouldn't take a sell entry off this until it closes below here, so that I have that confirmation. Like for example, here, if you were to take this sell right here, when it closed below the structure, take a short position there, you would have hit some TP off that. And then again, same situation here. We have the rejection. We have the sell signal right here. We have the close below structure right here. And that pushes for a full TP right there as well. So just keep that in mind. But here, this is what you would be looking for. You want price to close below the structure before you take that trade, because it can reject off this point and then shoot right back up. So that's pretty much what I see from there. All right, so going back to US 30, and US 30 would have provided for some nice sells today. I kind of wish I took these trades, but unfortunately I didn't. So, it's all good. Let's see. Jasmine's asking, how do you draw your zones? So Jasmine, the way I draw my zones is, so I'll show you, for example, over here, damn CT, look at that. It got close to the TP that I sent and it dumped. This is why I don't trade on Fridays. It's moving pretty crazy. So Jasmine, I'll just show you how I draw my zones here. It doesn't matter which time frame you're trading on. It just depends on what you're trading on, right? So here's US 30. Let me just take everything off the chart. Maybe if you want to be a little more specific with your question, Jasmine, I'm not sure if you want me to draw it off the intraday or if you want me to draw it off the 10-minute. No, I can draw them exactly how you want them. So depending if you're trading intraday, I can go on the higher time frame. If you're scalping, I could draw them on the 10-minute. So if you could be a little more specific, I'll draw them for you, or I can do both. It doesn't really matter. I just want to figure out what you're asking so that I can be more specific with my response to your question. Because I just want to make sure that you get it right. I don't want to draw it on the 10-minute and you're like, no, I wanted it on the intraday, but I ended up drawing it on a different time frame. Nice. So CT said he stopped out at 50%. Cool. So CT over here, let me just go back to NASDAQ real quick. CT closed out of his profit halfway. So he took this trade right here. Nice work. So CT took this trade right here on the 3-minute. He closed out in profit at 50%. So CT closed out right here. Nice work. Yeah. So on point with that, CT, with this identification right here. All right, so Jasmine wants me to mark up the zones on the scalping. So let me go back to US 30. It's all good, Jasmine. So usually I scalp on the 10-minute, right? So this is a 10-minute right here. I'll zoom out from this point. I'll turn on the K²SR indicator, and there are your zones, right? So here are your zones right here. The easy way to do it is to just start from where the zone starts from, right? So just zoom in from right here, and then you can see that these zones usually have 2 levels. It has an upper level and a lower level. So when you see this right here, you just draw your zone from that point. Again, right here, a small zone from that point. Again, right here, you can see that these overlap. When they overlap like this, you just link them together. So there you go with that zone right there. You can see that this drops a little bit right there. So you drop it down slightly. Again, right here for this green one. Again, right here for this red one. Again, for this green one right here, you can see these green ones over here overlap. And I'll just show you over here. So you can see that there's one zone up here, right? This upper zone. And you can see that this one overlaps with it. So instead of drawing 2 zones, you just draw one big zone. So there you go with that. And then lastly, these 2 zones right here overlap as well. So once you got those lined up right there, you turn off your K²SRs, and there you go. You got some perfectly drawn zones for some scalp entries right here. So once you got these right here lined up, you can turn on the K2 pivots, and then you can see where those entries appeared, right? So there you go. You got some perfectly drawn zones, and you can see from this point right there, perfect entry off there, off that structure over there. So that's pretty much it, Jasmine. That's pretty much how you would draw your zones and identify entries off this point. CT said it'll probably go, but I'll take the 210. Yeah, you might as well take the profit, CT. I wouldn't risk holding any trades right now, especially with how the market's moving back and forth. Hey, what's up, Eric? How's it going? So Eric, if you guys saw Eric in nice. So some more profit right here. Cheryl said last trade. So she took, okay, done. I promise I'm walking away. So that's a gift she posted. She closed out this day with 9,000. See, Cheryl took these trades without me even calling me, because she took the NASDAQ 100 right here. I didn't call any NASDAQ trades. Well, this is the one that CT took, that buy. So she took 3 trades here for NASDAQ. She took some DAX 30 trades both ways. She took sell and buys, all profit. UK 100 again, she took some sells off here, profit, right? So she killed it. She's on point with it, right? And this is what I'm saying, guys. If you guys learn the strategies that I'm teaching, you guys don't need my signals. You guys can just do it on your own, because I didn't call any of these trades. I literally called none of these. And here you go, Cheryl. Her name is Making It with K2. So she changed her name from her normal name to Making It with K2, because she stays killing it at K2. She's a prime example of what's possible here. Okay, Cheryl joined K2 like not that long ago. I think she joined like in December, and she's only been with us for 2 months, and look how much profit she's killing like every single day. Like it's crazy how much she's locking in. If I just show hers right here, so Making with K2. So if I just show her messages here, you guys can see how much profit she's killing. So like this was today, right? She made 9,000 today. If we look yesterday and see what was yesterday, Thursday, she said, damn, just woke up. She made 6,000 off that, right? And this is Cheryl taking her own trade. She's not even copying she's taking some of my live trades, but most of the time she's trading on her own, because I don't trade S&P. She took S&P right there. She took US 30, UK 100, DAX 30, and she's killing it every single day. That's from Wednesday. Look on Tuesday. Let me see if she shared profits on Tuesday, catching a few this morning, some more profit here. She trades everything. So, obviously it's on point with this. So that's pretty much, just me showing you guys that it's possible, guys. If you guys just learn how to trade how I do, it's you guys can easily pick this up. Yeah, no problem, Jasmine. Glad I could help with that. Let's see. CT said, and there goes NAS. Let me check NAS real quick. Don't tell me it was one of those shoulda, coulda, woulda moments, right? CT. Oh man. So there's CT's TP right there. It broke right through it. His TP was at the top of the structure. Oh, gee, when that happened, CT. It's all good. He locked in some profit off that. Full TP off that right there. Let me get some horns for CT over there for calling that trade. There you go. So nice work off that, CT. Great identification for that entry there. So shot up at that point. And then same with Varun. Varun mentioned US 30 shot after hitting TP. So like I mentioned for US 30 over here, this is one that Varun actually identified. I didn't even identify it. It's everyone calling these trades on their own. So Varun identified this sell right here. It hit TP. So right there, he entered that sell for 500 pips right here. He hit TP. It was just like, this is what the scalps are about, guys. It's about locking in profits and pulling out. So Varun hit his full TP right there, and then he pulled out, and then it went up the other way. So that's why you got to be, on point with it with regard to these scalps. You can't get sloppy with these scalps, guys. If you get too sloppy, odds are you're gonna run into some bad trades. But all right, so Biku said, Shawn, I use TradingView to mark up my charts at MT4 to execute trades like most people. How can you mark up charts on the 10-minute on TradingView, but MT4 only shows not at all? Biku, I think you're confused with because if you go back and read your message, right? So your message says, Shawn, I use TradingView to mark up the charts. Exactly. So you only need the 10 minutes. You need a 10-minute on TradingView. You're not marking up charts on MT4. So time frame doesn't matter on MT4. I think you're confused because you think that you can only execute trades if it's the same time frame, right? That's completely wrong because you only need 10-minute on TradingView. On MT4, you're just executing the trade. So there's no conflict there. So I think you might be a little confused. So just go back and reread what you said, because you said you use TradingView to mark up charts, right? So if you're marking up charts on TradingView, you only need the 10-minute on TradingView. Like, why would you need the 10-minute on MT4 if you're not charting anything on there? You're just entering and exiting trades off MT4. So hopefully that clears it up for you. I think you're just confused. You think that the time frame has to be the same. It doesn't matter if I'm entering a trade on the 10-minute, if I'm entering a trade on the 1 hour, price is going to be the same. See how price is 31,277? If I go to the 10-minute, price is the same. Price doesn't change. If I go on the weekly, the daily, price is still the same. So it doesn't make a difference if you're on the 10-minute, 5-minute, 1 second, price doesn't change. It's the same thing. So I think that you might be a little confused about that, Biku, but yeah, time frame doesn't matter. It just matters on where you're charting. But executing the trade doesn't make a difference. Yeah, no problem, Biku. I know a lot of people get confused about that. That's a common question. So it's okay that you have that question because everyone asks that as well. It's not just you. Okay, so Varun said, should we scalp the buy side of US? Well, I mean, you can if you want, Varun, but I'm not going to. But I would personally. I mean, if I was trading, I probably would because it's, like I mentioned earlier, I mentioned that on CNBC, since this was red before, look how they're all turning green now, right? They're starting to reverse mid-session. So you can take it if you want, Varun, but I'm not going to take it because I'm just, I mean, you know how I trade. I'm conservative. I don't want to take any risky trades. But I mean, it could play out nice. So we have this candle closing in 4 minutes here. Varun, I'll mark it up for you if it does close. I'm not going to take it on my own account, but I mean, if you want to, you can maybe take a smaller lot size to minimize your risk. But I will. I'll mark it up for you. If that becomes the case where it closes. Ivan said, I had the same question about time frame when I started. It's not clear for beginners that MT4 doesn't need 10-minute. Yeah, exactly, Ivan. So yeah, going back to what you mentioned, Biku, Ivan had the same question as well. It's the same. It's a common question. So there's nothing wrong with having that question. It's just don't get confused on it because a lot of people get confused on it, and it's not really of any importance. Billionaire said, is this a scalp buy? So technically it would be a scalp buy if it closes. Billionaire mindset, I'm not taking it. It's a risky trade. But if you and Varun want to take it, I mean, you guys can. Here, let's see. Billionaire mindset said, is this a scalp buy on or daily? This would be a scalp buy if that's the case. Technically the daily would have been right here too. But we don't take the daily on Fridays because it's because you don't want to get caught in a trade over the weekend. But yeah, if you took the daily trade right here, Billionaire, this would be the daily entry. I actually missed it. I didn't see this, but this would be the daily entry. So yeah, Varun, this is actually a good buy right here because if the daily is a buy, this is probably going to push up even further here as well. So this would be pretty solid actually. So Varun, if you want to take this would be good right here. This would align with the daily entry. So thanks for mentioning that billionaire mindset because I didn't even bother to look at the daily entry since we don't trade it. We usually don't trade it on Fridays, but there's the daily entry there. I think it already hit TP1 if that was the case. Let's see. Yeah, TP1 would have been basically triggered at this point if you took this daily entry right here. So this looks good on this point for the daily. It's about to hit TP1, and then right here for the scalp, this looks like a good entry as well, Varun. So now that I've seen the daily entry here, this would be a good scalp for this as well. And I want to set up sorry, guys. I'm going to try to set up my my FTMO now. Well, my new FTMO because I have to update my account information. I hate when they do that, when they give you a brand new account and it's like, it's just a hassle because you have to go and redo everything. Like for my copier, I got to go re-put all the information again. It's just a long process and a hassle, but whatever. Let me go ahead and okay. Let me just go over here. I'm going to delete this one. And then I'm going to add my new account on here. I'm going to get my account details. Over. FTMO server. All right, I'm just adding my accounts to my my copier, so I can possibly, if I wanted to take these. Billionaire, I wouldn't. I mean, you can if you want, but I wouldn't enter. This is way too late for the daily entry. I would just enter the scalp. This entry is just too far off. It's not. You're going to be in negative if it comes down like 700 pips. It's not worth the risk. I would just enter the scalp if you really wanted to. I'm not going to take it, but if you guys want to. So there you go. There's the scalp entry. It's currently active right now, Varun, and Billionaire Mindset if you guys wanted to take that. And I'll let that run right now while I set up my. All right, so there's an issue with my account. Let me see. It's a brand new account, so it's probably gonna take another try. See, these numbers are right. Yeah, it looks right to me. But yeah, there's a buy scalp right there for US 30. Otherwise, setting up my copier right now to set up my accounts. But it's too late. I don't think I'm gonna be able to take these trades. By the time this is done setting up, it's probably gonna be. What the heck? All right, server details are wrong. All right, maybe it's a different FTMO. Let me see. Weird. Unless, no, these are MT4, right? Let's see. Yeah. MT4 platform. It's weird. Sorry, maybe it'll give me some time for me to possibly enter this. Let's see. Damn, man, this copier is taking forever. Come on, come on, come on. Give me the copier so I can take this trade. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go on the shorter time frames too. Let's go on the 1 minute real quick. It's gonna draw some zones. All right. So this would have been the zone right there. Okay, perfect. Let me just fix my copy real quick, guys. I got to create a new one. Let me see. Add copier. That's confusing. Oh, okay, sorry guys. I need to delete this off here. I got so many accounts that it's so confusing. I gotta make sure I label them properly. All right, let me delete this one. That's cool. It's like bouncing around this area, so I'm not really too worried about it. Let it bounce around a bit. Let me set up this copier real quick. All right, add copier. Which account should I use? I will use this one. Copy it to this one. All right, let's add another copier to it. Fixed lot for this one. 02. Copy your settings. The main problem with this is the slippage requirements on the personal. So I got that set up there. Turn this on. All right, so my copier is good to go. Let me now I got to go through this whole process of changing my login for MT4. So 1 second, guys. Let me just finish this real quick. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat while I set this up. I'm trying to set this up here. Let me see. Crap. This is my old account. And I'm just gonna log into this real quick, guys, so that we can I can possibly take this trade. All right, great. So MC4 let me in finally. Let's see, your US 30. Try my one-click trading. How many pips is it from there? I just took a small lot size, guys. I took a buy. So I currently actually entered late. So I entered down here. So I'm actually in this position now with you guys. Let me see what the price difference is for MC4 and for trading view. So let's see, it's 31278 minus 31286. It's off by like 8 pips. So we'll just round it to like 10. So let me modify this. Stop loss is going to be at 31241. Yeah. TP is going to be 31341. All right, so we'll see. I just took a small position, took like a little lot size, and then we'll see how this plays out. Set my TP stop loss on the 5-minute here. Yeah, and we'll see how it goes. Where did I enter this from? I thought I entered at a better price, but I guess not. I entered around the same, which was all good. All right, anyways, so I did hop into this trade right here. A really, really small lot size. I didn't take anything too big. I'm just testing. I feel like I should make my stop loss a little wider. Oh, we'll see. We got about 3 minutes left on this candle. If this rejects off this pivot with a nice wick, then it's probably going to shoot up. But who knows? I just took a small lot size, testing it out. If it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit. It's cool. It's a small lot size. Kind of FOMO'd into this trade. Could have waited a little longer. But yeah, so I got my account set up. I got to set this up on my phone too. So let me just set this up real quick, guys, and then we should be good. And I'll just set up the everything else later on. Let's see which one is actually active. Okay, so this one's active right here. Oh, what the heck? Okay. Crap. Okay. Damn it. I took my account on I took my trade on the wrong account, but it's all good. Yeah, it's all good. It didn't copy over to my other trades because I logged in with the wrong account. Yeah, it's all good. All right. Well, whatever. Let me just try. I'm gonna try to log into my other account here. Let's see, I got a couple accounts. I was wondering why I didn't take the trade on my other account, which is fine. That's actually a good thing because this trade looks kind of risky. It doesn't look so hot. So set my password here, 3D. still active on mine. Yeah, it's actually a good idea that I didn't copy this one over to the other accounts because it's super risky. I'm probably gonna get kicked out of this trade. It's fine. And this is why we don't trade on Friday. I'm still in the position right now. I think my let me see how far is it from. It's getting close. Yeah, see, just a reminder why we don't trade on Fridays. It's all good though. I took it on my smaller accounts, so it's not a big deal. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, you see everyone else here is mentioning it. Vern said heavy manipulation on Friday, hit my stop loss. Fridays are wacky due to institutions getting positions right. And also for new month. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that too, CT. Oh, you're cool then, Bruin. So you didn't even take a big lot size. You took a small one. Mine's actually still running right now. It's really close. Because when I did the calculation for the 10 pips, I think it was slightly below here. So it was actually like probably around here, 60. Yeah, I'm technically still in the position right now. I'll show you guys my MC4. It's in some drawdown, but I am currently in it. It's in some pretty decent drawdown. I'm like negative 281, negative 300. So it's not that bad, guys. Like I took a really small lot size here and I entered the trade late. So, you know, the ability for it to shoot up was likely, but it's not a big deal. I mean, I just took it just because I FOMO'd in, which I normally don't. And this is why I don't trade on Fridays. But it's okay. If it doesn't hit, it's fine because it's a small position and we'll make it back next week. So I think this is about it, guys. So if you guys have any other questions, you know, feel free to put them in the chat so I can take a look. Otherwise, I think we're done for the most part for today. It is getting close to 10. So what I have to do right now is I have to answer all the emails. I have to respond to everyone's questions here on Telegram, and I also have to put the results together for the week. So I'm probably gonna get off soon. If you guys have any other questions, just put them in the chat and I'll take a look before I log off, but I'll still be available on Telegram if you guys have other questions. I'm just gonna go off the live because I have to go do a lot of back office work. So let's see, CT said NASDAQ long 30 minutes. So let's see, CT is still applying those NASDAQ trades on the 3-minute chart. So looking at this here, you said 3-minute, right? Yeah, okay. So like, yeah, CT saw another long position here for the NASDAQ. So let me just turn on the K2SR indicator. So I don't see one on mine. Let me go on the higher time frame to see if there's a zone there, because I think that's what CT was looking for, right? He had another zone that was drawn up in that area. So nothing on the 10-minute, 30-minute. Oh yeah, no, you're on point with that, CT. So the 30-minute zone is right here. You apply the entry off the 3-minute right here. Turn that off. Yeah, it looks like it lined up right there, right? So this is CT's entry again right here. Rejection off the pivot and structure, long position. Looks like yeah, it's pretty decent so far. Not sure how far you're pushing for it. I'm assuming you're pushing up to the next zone, right? Or somewhere around there, maybe 250, 300. Set it at 300. Yeah, so if this was the setup right here, I mean, this is pretty much what you would be taking off that CT if you had that running. So the US 30 is still running. I think it's still active on mine too. Yeah, it's still active. I'm at like negative $200, which is not bad. I'm glad I took a small position. I was thinking about taking a full lot size, like a 5. Thankfully, I didn't, because I know how the market moves on Friday, and it's usually unforgiving. So once this moves back into profit, I'm probably just going to close out. But yeah, guys, I think that's it for today. So if you guys have any other questions, you know, feel free to reach out on Telegram. Obviously, you can see I have like 18 messages here to get to, a bunch of text messages to respond to, and then I got about like 200 emails to respond to as well. So anyways, guys, hopefully you guys had a great trading week. Let's just go down the profit scan. Let's see what everyone locked in this week. So this whole week, let's see. Yeah, so we'll go down from, when did this week start? Today's the 26th. So this week started like on the 20th, right? Or the, yeah, 20th right here. But the 19th actually, no. So the 20th. So from the 20th right here, look at all these profits. Eric, Isai, Billy, Isai again. I'm just going to show you different people. So we got Billy, we got Jazz right here, profit, Salim. So you can see how many people in K2 are actually profiting. Mark, Braden, Tam, Sisuk, Jazz again, Tam again, Patricia, Robert. Like I could go down named Cheryl. There's so many names here, right? Camo, Ivan right here, Eric, Isai again, Sisuk. I'm gonna skip over the names I've already called. Owen, Mark, Isai, Mark again, Billy again, Gage. So you guys can see this is just from this week. Larishna, Camo again, Dennis, 3,000 off that, Jetta. So you guys can see there's a lot of people here that are profiting, and there's a lot of people that, you know, they overlap, but I'll just go over the new names. Michael locked in about 7,000. Nice. Karen, Cheryl again, Jonathan, Patricia again, Nagin, Tam again, Sisuk again, Jetta again, Miriam locked in 5,000 off that for that day. Braden again, Jeremy. So you guys can see here, we've had a great week so far. So I'll give a recap of everyone's profits after this session. See, Mark right here said he passes FTMO in one day. This is taking all my scalps for US 30 that one day. So nice work off that, Michael. Mark again right here, CT, 4,000 off that. Sisuk again, Tam again, Chad over here locked in about 1,000 off this if you add all these up. Cheryl again, Henry. So you guys can see like Paco, Eunice, Paco again over here, Patricia, Henry, John. So, I mean, it goes on and on, guys. Jonathan right here again, he hopped in on that. Owen, Jonathan, Sam. Like you guys can see, we've had a great week so far. So hopefully you guys all locked in some nice profits this week. Mo again right here. I'll just keep going down a little further. Kirsten right there. Ricardo right there. He passed his FTMO as well. Congrats to Ricardo. Kyle right there. And, you know, hopefully we'll have another great week next week. Chelsea over here. Jerry right there. Like literally everybody. Steven right there. So you guys can see I probably named like over 100 people this whole week. You know, everyone just keep killing it. Deswell. Eric passes FTMO. Cheryl again, some more and some more. So that's pretty much it, guys. So if you guys have any other questions, you know, feel free to reach out on Telegram. Otherwise, thanks for showing up. If you guys can hit the like button on your way out, that'll definitely help with the YouTube algorithm. And I think I have some live sessions today. So if you guys want to sit in on that, just make sure to turn on your notifications so that you guys can be notified when I go live. But other than that, you know, great trading week, guys. I'll send an update, send the totals at the end of the day, and we'll move on for our weekend. So have a great weekend, guys. Be safe, and I'll catch you guys back here on Sunday for some more profits. So until then, I'll catch you guys on Sunday for market reopen. So catch you guys later.